going to be back from.
But he's coming back. It's not
of course.
season.
Yeah, it's not the season. We've established
And that's better than anything they can trade for.
No question about it. And I mean, what they've done with their lineup so far, and I don't know how hot both those guys will stay. But Manny Machado and Eric Hosmer have been two of the best hitters in the National League. So
Machado getting tossed last night was big because he would have been up when it got interesting.
Albert
late.
with a walk-off sack fly. That's always fun.
I'll take it.
That's
Adam
fun.
Wainwright looked marvelous. Giovanni Gallegos, not so marvelous.
Not so much.
Brian, on your 5 to win 90, boy, if Gonzaga hadn't won it these last 2 years, when are they going to?
This year.
I hope you're right.
I hope I am too.
Bryant is a believer.
This is also my first futures bet that I've ever done. I don't like doing futures ever. I hate doing futures.
See, you're one of those guys who need instant gratification on your bets.
Oh, I'm an addict.
Need to win or lose.
Got to.
That's the whole rush of it.
Exactly.
Hey, come on, you know that.
No, I understand. I enjoy it. So the reason I got into UFC is because I enjoy the betting around UFC.
Oh, that's great. I mean, you can just do one match at a time.
Yeah,
You got another one right
quickly.
after.
Very quickly. Somebody gets knocked out in, a minute and a half,
yeah.
and you have another
Fantastic.
fight to bet on. Now, you
know
pray
what
for the
we're gonna have
person who
today?
got knocked out.
We're going to have way back Wednesday.
Yeah, we are. What do you got today?
I've got a lot for you, but I want to tell y'all kind of a not way back Wednesday, a very much millennial song, and I totally downloaded it because I liked it for Andrew Kisner's walk-up music, and I bought it today at Apple Music, and I can't find it.
You bought
it's called, it's called Levitating by Dua Lipa featuring DeBaby.
Levitating.
What a guy. No, you want to know something funny about that song, Brett? Apparently, she's being sued over it.
Yeah, because she kicked the baby off of it.
Well, no, it has nothing to do with that.
Oh, really?
It has to do with she stole the song from somebody else.
Oh,
yeah,
no, I'm not a part of piracy, am I?
No. Well,
no.
right now maybe you are. I don't know. You're putting it up to your mic. This is your song.
No, this
Brett.
is FCC regulated radio. He can play whatever he wants.
This is your
no
song.
cussing.
It's no cussing. I've already made sure.
So this is your song, huh, Brett?
Not
Andrew
bad song.
Kisner's walk-up music
Catchy.
I really liked last week and 2 weeks before that.
I can't complain about it, but you bought it. That's the big thing. You bought it.
$1.29, man.
I love it.
You didn't need to buy it. Do you have a subscription to Apple Music or no?
No.
Okay,
It's
that's
not.
why you had
Yeah.
bought it. That makes sense. Okay. I get it.
I spent more on a lot less.
There you go. Brett, big Dua Lipa guy.
I like it. Hey,
Who
why
knew?
not?
Who? Honestly, I
He knew
had
that was
no
Andrew
idea.
Kisner's walk-up song.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
you get
I'm
the
pretty
biggest
sure
kick out of it.
between
I knew none of the lyrics, but I like the groove, and
Groovy
I'm at Apple Music or at iTunes Music, trying to figure out what, and putting in what
Lyrics?
I thought were keyword. Yeah, not even close.
What?
Finally Googled Andrew Kisner's walk-up music and got it. I would have never figured out the name of it was Levitating.
You have to. Well, it does say levitating, right? In the song.
levitating.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does
I
say
couldn't
it.
really understand it though.
But
I
if
just
you-
like the
if
groove.
you if you throw just for future reference, one they have an app called Shazam that you can
Shazam's a
if
good
if there's a song
I'm not
playing,
downloading
click
that.
click Shazam, click the button, it tells you what song's playing. Also, you can just type in the lyrics on Google
Okay.
You couldn't
and press
understand the
and type
lyrics.
lyrics after.
Extra credit way back Wednesday question right out of the gate here.
All right.
Jim Neighbors in what TV show would say Shazam?
Shazam.
What show?
Shazam.
No.
I don't know. I have no
Gomer
idea.
Pyle, United States
Gomer
Marine
Pyle.
Corps.
I knew that.
And he was a character
You knew
from
that?
the Andy Griffith show.
I knew it from. I couldn't remember the show. Great show.
he may have even said Shazam when he was working at
He
Wally's
did.
filling station.
Yep, he did.
So Dua Lipa off the top of the show. Brett, well done. Well done. Now, we do have a lot to get to, including way back Wednesday at the bottom of the second hour around 4:45. But besides that, in the world of sports, DeAndre Williams returns to Memphis. Now eyes turn to Lester Quinones, who has a workout today with the Warriors. Had one yesterday with the Lakers, but apparently per his agent, he's going to decide whether or not he should withdraw from the NBA draft
I like the
after
word
that
choice.
workout.
Tiger Nation turns its lonely eyes to the Lester Quinones decision.
Yep, 10:59 Central Time is the time the deadline for being able to withdraw from. The
I'll
NBA
wake up
draft.
to the news. No
Really?
late baseball tonight either. Latest game
Well,
tonight,
you may not wake up.
7:05.
He may announce it pretty shortly after the
True,
workout.
but if it's a deadline decision, it'll be news to me on Thursday.
Maybe it'll drop while we're on the show. That's a possibility as well. I don't know when these workouts actually take place.
I'm pretty sure it's probably going on right now.
Early afternoon.
Because he was posting stuff about it, it looked like before he started. So I'm sure it's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. In the NBA in general, plenty to get to on the NBA Finals. We are going to give you our top 10 NBA Finals players from this year's teams. So Celtics versus Warriors, we'll give you our top 10 there at about 5. Also, outside of that, Kevin Durant and Draymond Green exchanged some words via social media, which Kevin Durant does, all the time. How many burner accounts do you think he has at this point? Several. But he exchanged words with Draymond Green via social media in response to an appearance Dre made on the Colin Cowherd podcast and sort of what he had to say around the teams that Kevin Durant was a part of in Golden State.
Right, I got a question. I know the answer is money. He's making money. He's generating income. I understand that. Why would somebody with the public voice, every day out there, why does Colin Cowherd, why does he save something for the podcast? Why is he not giving to you in his regular media hits?
I couldn't tell you. That's a good question. I know he's contracted through Fox Sports for his normal show, and his podcast is himself. So I guess any I have no idea. I guess
so the money. I'm sure.
I guess some
and
money.
I guess
but
to cuss. Does he cuss? I guess the liberation from it.
I don't hear a bunch of cussing.
I've done more podcasts than I've ever recorded.
But the guest.
I've been a guest, which if it's been one,
so,
it would be that.
But also, I think for Draymond Green in particular, he's part of the volume, part of Colin Cowherd's podcast network, so it's very easy to access it through his podcast network since he's actually signed by Colin Cowherd. So that.
But if I'm his employer somewhere else, going, hey man, we want the best of you here. Yeah. We want. For better or for worse, I'm giving it all I got, 3 to 6 right here.
Yeah, but he's done pretty well for himself throughout his career.
No question about that. Again, that's back to
well.
that's back to the money. But what I don't get is why more employers aren't signing restrictive contracts with on-air personalities. We want all of you here.
I wonder how that works, honestly, when you talk about non-competes and everything else. I wonder how it worked with him setting up his own podcast network.
Mm-hmm. And I just don't know.
I can't
I'm
imagine
truly ignorant
Fox,
and
unknown.
To
when it comes to that non-compete, I can't imagine that Fox Sports views his podcast network as a direct type of competition. I can't imagine that is the case, but who knows? Who knows? But he does seem to get a lot more good interviews and sort of sound bites out of his podcast than he does actually on the air with Fox Sports.
Well, again, I'm back to looking at it through the prism of the employer. If he's kind of giving his best pitch when I'm not paying you, what am I paying you so much for?
Well, I think that's probably what it is because, I'm sure he's making salary with Fox Sports. This one, it's all about clicks. The more clicks you get, the more income you can get based off that. So if he's saving all of these good interviews and stuff back to money, he's just making more money off it when he's making salary at Fox. So why put this on Fox?
But your point, Brett, is you're saying why is Fox paying you so much if you're not
you're
not going to bring it to our airwaves? I understand. That's an interesting point, but we'll talk about the back and forth though from Draymond Green and Kevin Durant on that. Also, as we inch toward the NFL season, 99 days till the start, Deshaun Watson remains in the news. Browns QB has a 23rd case levied against him, and there are now rumors of a 24th case being levied against Deshaun Watson. So it's all bad.
At this point, though, Gabe, how much difference does 20 make over 25? Or what's the next number that's really knee bending? That you go, oh my!
It's already a ridiculous quantity.
That's right.
I agree.
Allegations
with
very salacious.
But as more people step forward, it just adds more to the plate of whoever's going to be litigating this to Rusty Hardin, to Tony Busby, and the NFL's plate as well. I'm curious when the NFL actually makes a decision. I cannot imagine at this point, and I know there was some thoughts that he could play the entire 2022-23 season and then get suspended next year. At this point, it just seems hard for the NFL to sit on their hands and not suspend him, at least for a certain period of time.
who would believe of these big 5 sports commissioners in American sport? Gary Bettman, hockey, Rob Manfred, baseball. They're breathing pretty easy. One's wrapping up a great year. One's starting a year. Then you got Jay Monahan, who's got it coming at him in every direction.
Yep.
Roger Goodell constantly on pins and needles. And then Adam Silver wrapping up probably the most trying 3 years of his professional and private life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who would believe that Rob Manfred may be breathing easier than any commissioner out there?
That's bizarre to even think about. And speaking of Jay Monahan, the Live Golf Invitational Series has announced its 42-man field for their first event next month in London. There were some massive surprises in the field, including a certain major winner, former number 1.
Stunning.
That plans to participate in Dustin Johnson. And also the other surprise, no Phil Mickelson. Phil not a part of the 42-man field for the first event.
I know it's not huge names to most people that aren't golf addicts. I was surprised about Taylor Gooch.
Right.
I was a little bit surprised with Hudson Swafford. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they're taking the money. Now, what we're getting ready to see, Gabe, who's the first one in the media, in the golf media, to take that big offer?
Ooh, that's interesting. That is something. That's something I haven't even thought about yet. But the amount of and Brett, I expected to come in here and sort of discuss like Dustin Johnson making this decision, how foolhardy it was, yada yada yada. When I saw the amount of money he's getting paid to go play on the Live Golf Invitational Series, I can't. And I understand there's good money and bad money in this world, and you have to sort of decide for yourself where your moral compass is. But the amount of money they're paying him, I don't blame him for a second.
And his father-in-law is a god in a country.
Mm-hmm. So,
wow. I mean, I don't know, but what if Brandel Chambly took that big deal to be the face man of Live Golf TV coverage?
That would be something. That would be something. I'll say this, though. I mean, seeing the field and seeing when it's going to take place, how it's going to take place, is it wrong for me to say I'm kind of interested to see how those event stops, how they play out, who wins, what it looks like?
I'm with you on kind of interested. I mean, it's more than I am in the USFL, but less than I am in a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm. How much USFL have you really caught?
Zero.
I have
not
tried,
a replay, not a second, not a highlight.
I have tried to click on it. I have tried to. It just it doesn't do it for me. No. And I know I have teammates in there that are trying to
and I won't
find
their
spot within the ranks of any type of football.
I want it to do well. It's just going to do it without me.
Yes, and the XFL just looks like
we got a World Football League question though. WFL is not the Kicking Warfield question at 4:45.
I hear you. Before we get into top and not top story of the day, guess-wise, 3:30, bring on Alex Kuhn from KGYM Radio in Cedar Rapids to talk everything under the sun. 4 o'clock, John Goen joins us from Timber Trust Golf for golf talk and picks. I have taken a substantial fall in the picks. I need a good.
It's close though. Well, it's tightly compacted. No, you're right there.
I understand though. I understand. I need to get.
I think
going,
it's as fun and fair and equitable as it's been in a long time at this point.
Mm-hmm. And then 5:30, bring on Brian Geltzeiler from HoopsCritic.com and Sirius XM. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. You can also watch us live and message us on our social, Sports56 WHBQ, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And go to our website, Sports56WHBQ.com.
Thank you, big man. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town. They are at 2600 Ridgeway, and they are online at LexusofMemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2022 models and special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500. You'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. 901-334-9673, online at LexusofMemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
That's Tiger basketball back in the news for top story of the day. Ko Deriji Akabundo Ehioku By the way, did you?
That was pretty good.
Didn't even have to pause.
Wow.
But obviously,
Very
they get
impressive.
that commit from him yesterday to sort of fill in that front court, and I think it's fully filled in now. DeAndre Williams is back. He announced it at about 10 a.m. this morning that he has pulled his name out of the NBA draft, will not be playing professional ball for at least another year because he wants to take advantage of NIL opportunities at the University of Memphis and, quote, finish what he started at the University of Memphis. And the way I see it, this sort of signifies that the Tigers still have a chance in this AAC. DeAndre Williams, when he's been on the floor, he has been the anchor. He has been the energy. He has been the guy that you can look at and say that's the biggest reason they win or the biggest reason they lose if he's out of the game. He's the heart and soul of the team. Now the eyes turn to Lester Quinones. 10:59 p.m. tonight, Central Time, will be when he has to make his decision by, of course, has a workout with the Warriors, had a workout with the Lakers yesterday. He's hearing better things, but we need to see, because I don't know how replaceable he is, we need to see if he's going to be back to help the Tigers with that perimeter defense, to be a knockdown shooter like he was last year.
My top story, Dustin Johnson in the Live Golf field for next month in London. No Phil Mickelson. Shocked by both of those. Surprised with Taylor Gooch and Hudson Swafford. They're in as well. This will, I think, as I've read it, does this end Dustin Johnson participation in President and Ryder Cups? Is that right?
You would know better than I. I have not seen that yet, but if you're saying it, I would believe it.
I don't know about the Masters because that's an invitational. They technically could invite anybody they want. There are some parameters.
Right.
And as a former champion, I think he will always be invited there. But he's a former PGA champion as well, isn't he? And I know a U.S. Open champion. Very interesting for him. It must have been – what is the money figure you've seen?
$125 million is what I saw. So
That's real money.
100 million pounds overseas.
That's a lot of money. Also, did you know this about the Live Golf Tour? They're going to have shotgun starts at tournaments. I mean, it'd be like your Pineapple Open on Saturday and Sunday with your buds, and
Gotta
you're on
start
16.
somewhere,
So how quickly would a round of golf be with the shotgun start?
Everybody's going to be about 4 hours or less because you all start at the same time. If you start on 16, you end on 15, and et cetera. But shotgun starts. Wow.
That's going to be hard for them when they have TV coverage to follow everything. You have to have multiple alternate channels to be able to follow all the golfers.
We would play in a tournament after the shotgun would go off. We would do a shot of hot damn.
I hear you.
Not top story of the day.
That has to do with the SEC spring meetings in Destin. Nick Saban spoke yesterday, said nothing new. Jimbo Fisher spoke today and tried to say we're moving on from this whole thing. I don't want to discuss the Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban thing. But I have to say, way too quiet. Not a lot being figured out in Destin right now, and it's. I figured that we'd have more clarity on pods, what they're going to do with divisions. Are they going to get rid of divisions altogether? What's the schedule going to look like going forward? 8 or 9, the 1-7, 3-6. I have no idea what's actually being discussed behind closed doors, but Brian Kelly sort of let us into the room to a certain extent with his comments yesterday, and it was obviously a video via Twitter. He said they're discussing more than anything transfer portal and the future of college football behind NIL. So we will see what actually comes out of these meetings, but it seems like we thought more was going to come out than actually will.
It always underperforms. I think SEC Media Days usually performs. Doesn't under, last year over, but most years it at least performs because we're that much closer to football. I have never requested, tried to, attempted to, wanted to go to these Destin meetings. I've had people tell me forever, that's where all the action is. There's never any action
What
there.
action? I haven't seen
I don't
anything.
play golf anymore. If I go to the beach, I'd end up in the hospital sunburn. What do I need to go down there for? If there's never been any action at that, my not top story, it may not be Deshaun Watson at quarterback on opening day for the Browns, and it definitely won't be Baker Mayfield on opening day for the Browns. So who will it be? Jacoby Brissett, Josh Dobbs, What's that win you? I know people, everybody, jumping in to roundly criticize Baker Mayfield. He left it better than he found it, and he might be appreciated someday after he's gone.
Yeah. He's not appreciated very much right now. I'll say that right.
Zip.
I'll say that.
It can only go one way with it.
Well,
it ended poorly.
Well, and I have been a critic of Baker Mayfield. I'm the first to admit that. Deshaun Watson.
I have too, but also, and you do too. But we see his stronger attributes. Some don't see any.
When Deshaun Watson's on the field, he's substantially. I mean, he's a better quarterback.
No doubt.
Like there's no.
But we got to get to the field.
That's very true. But when it comes to Baker Mayfield and sort of what's been done, there's got to be some thought in the back of your head about what he brought that franchise out of. It was a new quarterback every single year, no stability. Now, it seems like they have at least a little bit, some level of stability.
And he's handing off to maybe the best chapter in Cleveland Browns history that hadn't had a lot of great chapters. I like the Browns. I want the Browns to do well. I'm glad they got their team back. I'm glad they got their history back. I want the Browns to do well. I'm kind of a closet Browns fan. I pull far more than I pull against them.
And again, I'm not a Baker Mayfield apologist by any stretch of the imagination. I think moving on from him is fine as long as you can get somebody else on the field that can handle themselves. Deshaun Watson, we don't know what's going to happen with that. But last year, I feel like the tide really turned on Baker Mayfield, and we do have to take into consideration a separated shoulder he's playing on. He's playing on multiple injuries at the same time. But again, even with that, even with having all those injuries, the expectation
I think
in Cleveland was different.
Baker Mayfield.
But also the expectation in Cleveland is different these days, considering what they have on that roster. They expected more, and he didn't deliver.
Kevin Stefanski's raised that. Brett Northworthy here for FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the 75th NBA Finals that start Thursday night. And to celebrate 75 years of the NBA, FanDuel giving all customers a $75 referral bonus. That's right. You'll give and get $75 in site credit when you invite friends to join America's #1 sportsbook. Here's how it works. Invite your friends from the app. Make sure they sign up with your referral link, and as soon as your friend makes any bet of at least $10, you'll both get a bonus. Offer ends June 2nd when Game 1 of the NBA Finals tips off. Don't miss your chance to bet the finals with a bonus. Here's what I like for Game 1. I like Boston. I like Boston to win the series. I like to go over for Game 1, and I like Jason Tatum to be the MVP of the NBA Finals. If you're new to FanDuel, you can also sign up with promo code CASH to get free bets after your first bet. That's promo code CASH. Just head over to the FanDuel Sportsbook app and invite your friends today to get your $75 sportsbook credit at FanDuel. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Referred players must wager $10 or more within 28 days after signing up. Limit 10 referrals. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires after 7 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Today is the day, fellas. The match. Are y'all interested? Starts at 5:30 while we're on air. You ready to see Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers? Any takers?
I'll watch the same amount of that as I have the USFL.
It really is.
I'll bet on
You
it.
will.
Yeah,
who are you betting on? You got to bet on the
I
Bucs,
haven't
right?
looked at it yet.
The Grizzled.
Bet that $5 on Gonzaga on it.
Yeah, cash that out. Re-bet it. I'll say this about it, though. Trash talk's been decent back and forth.
That's good.
Has it?
You need some
Aaron
good
Rodgers
trash talk in an event
calling
like that.
Patrick Mahomes Kermit the Frog, saying TikTok runs in the family, making fun of Jackson Mahomes. It's been all right so
Man,
far.
that hit right where it hurts, doesn't it?
I guess so. I guess so. But it really was pandemic viewing.
I'll get worse than that on the text line today than that.
You think you could just maybe leave that back in the pandemic?
Yeah, that was so obvious. That was so obviously.
Well, it was great when everybody was stuck in the house and they were done
Pandemic
doing like,
viewing.
oh, let's watch
That was
these
it.
guys.
And
you know,
also, here's
play
the other
golf.
And it got tedious.
And,
It did.
well, it did. And also taking out a pro on each team kind of.
Which kind of
Limit-
takes out the golf.
Yeah.
Where they have a shotgun start, hot damn on every tee box.
There you
I
go.
played in those tournaments.
I hear you. Shotgun start. Nice. But that'll do it for Top and Not Top Story of the Day. We have to get to our first break. When we come back, we bring in my brother, Alex Kuhn from KGYM Radio in Cedar Rapids. You're listening to Sports 56, 98.5.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Grapevine Liquor and Wine has the largest selection of bourbon in North Mississippi and wines from all over the world. Let Jimmy the Delta Boy help you select the perfect spirit or wine to impress. Whether you're looking for the best price or a certain flavor profile, Grapevine Liquor and Wines has it. If you want good southern treatment and the hottest prices, Grapevine Liquor and Wine, Getwell Road, South Haven.
Hotty toddy, gosh almighty, where do you get your bourbon? Flim flam, bim bam, Grapevine, by damn.
Are you tired of living paycheck to paycheck? Do you have nightmares about your finances? Are you struggling to save for emergencies? Are you wanting to buy a home and not sure how to get the funds to do so? Well, it's time to get a handle on your finances with a personalized session with Nicasia, your money coach and certified personal financial counselor with Tate Enterprise. She is available to help you create your vision of financial freedom. It all starts by booking your session today at NicasiaTate.com. That's NAKASIA Tate.com.
At Boost Mobile, you get the power of the iPhone SE when you switch, which means the power to stream your favorite shows, download all the music, the power to FaceTime your ex.
It's over. Stop calling me.
On second thought, don't call your ex. Switch now and get an iPhone SE for $0, all on one of America's largest 5G networks. More power to save. Boost Mobile. Free phone limited to new customers and one per line, excluding tax. Additional restrictions apply. 5G not available everywhere. See boostmobile.com for details. And stop calling your ex. She doesn't want to hear from you anymore.
It's been said that the world always looks brighter from behind a smile. So why not let my friend, Dr. Mehdi Sadeghi, and his friendly staff at the Smile Center Memphis help brighten up your world. The Smile Center is a local family dentistry located in Germantown, specializing in cosmetic crown veneers, teeth whitening, and Invisalign clear braces, all with free consultation and second opinions. New patients are welcome, and if you don't have dental insurance, don't frown. They have an in-office plan to fit your specific needs. Same-day emergency service available as well. Give Mehdi a call, 309-1333, or visit their website at smilecentermemphis.com.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Now that the warmer weather has arrived, let Choate's perform their $99 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC ready for the hot summer months ahead. Also, Choate's is offering our half-off 1 pound of Freon coupon on our website for you to use. Does your HVAC system need to be replaced? If so, right now is an excellent time to take advantage of Carrier's 60 months, no-interest financing on select systems. Want to improve your indoor air quality? Choate's is also offering our new Abco air purifier for $100 off when you get your air ducts cleaned. UV technology sterilizes biological contaminants and neutralizes odors and toxic VOCs. Match that technology with getting your air ducts cleaned, and you'll have the indoor air quality your family needs. Better call 347-8086 today. These specials won't last long. Turn to the experts with Choate's and let our family serve your family.
Let's talk savings, Mid-South. Colin Johnston here from DeSoto Auto Sales. I want to go camping, but I can't till I sell more cars. So this month, my sticky situation could be your sweet solution. You could save a ton on a nicer, newer car. The more you spend, the more you save. Been burned by credit before? My For the People credit approval process is sweeter than chocolate. We want to help you drive a nicer, newer car today. So if you want to be a happy camper, stop burning up in a car you hate. Truck on down to DeSoto Auto Sales today. But hurry, this deal's done once I finally go camping. I'm Colin Johnston, your dealer for the people. New cars are arriving daily. See them all at DeSotoAutoSales.com. That's DeSotoAutoSales.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Vehicle purchase price determines actual discount. Offer absolutely expires on June 30th, 2022.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
What we are dealing with here is a perfect machine. It's really a miracle of evolution.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
I don't want to die for them to miss me. Yes, I see the things that they wish. Hope I got some brothers that outlive me. They don't tell the story. Back roads.
Sportstime on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He's Stats. AutoZone listener line 901-360-8255. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Send us text, questions, comments, concerns all day about anything we discuss. Also message us on our social, Sports 56 WHBQ, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Without further ado, let's bring in Alex Kuhn at Alex Kuhn 523 from KGYM Radio in Cedar Rapids. Obviously, the co-host of the Todd Brommelkamp Show with Alex Kuhn on KGYM Radio from 4 to 6. Alex, what's happening?
Not a whole lot, guys. How are you?
We're doing well. Brett and Bryant. Shout out to these guys. They support me in times of need. And it didn't stop yesterday. We got back into the office, started discussing, and they sent out their prayers for our Blues.
Cruel.
And how that game ended. I know you were in the building. I'm sorry to bring up such a touchy subject, but how was it being in the building for that sort of buzzer beater experience there with the Avs getting over top of the Blues?
Well, I had gotten over it until you just brought it back up.
Okay. Well.
No, it was fine. Look, it's part of the playoffs, and especially those playoffs.
Right.
Sometimes, as I said, the planets align in your favor, and sometimes they work against you. And I think Grizzlies fans can understand the feeling of, man, what if?
Right.
The feeling of what if. What if Ja Morant was available that entire series? What if Jordan Binnington was available that entire series against Colorado? And yes, the ending to it was definitely cruel and unusual, but flush it. The core looks like they'll be back next year and see if they can run it back and get back to that same spot.
It really is very similar to the Grizzlies and how they exited the Western Conference playoff. It really, because you look
deserve better,
and you look at the Warriors, probably the best team right now. And I think the Celtics can give them a run for their money, but the Warriors have ran through the playoffs easier than anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Avalanche, and they're the favorite. The Avs are the favorites as well, and both the Grizzlies and the Blues were very, very competitive. Almost
I think you can take consolation from that.
And yeah, they lost best player. Yeah, each lost their best player.
Now, Alex, juxtapose everything with this, and soul search for me here. Doesn't winning it in 2019 also make it a softer landing?
Absolutely.
No doubt. And Alex, there are times when I ask out loud, why did I sign up for this stuff? Why did I sign up for this cruel and unusual treatment from people that I don't know and that I can't affect? And no matter how much I spend and how much I cheer, it does not have anything to do with outcome. But then that sweet moment. That thrill of victory. 2019 for the hockey fans in St. Louis, 2011 for me in St. Louis. That magic moment makes all that pain worth it.
Yeah, it does, and it certainly changes your perspective on how the playoffs work. It changes your perspective on your team's ability to win in the playoffs, and it kind of, as you said, it softens the blow of losing that way. Had 2019 not happened, had they lost Game 7, like this year, I don't even want to think about what the reaction to this year would have been. So, yeah, to answer your question, definitely.
So what is the shelf life for Grizzlies fans? Because, I talk about scar tissue, and we racked it up this year, and then all in all, it's a good thing, and one of these days it's going to make us better and all that good stuff. But then you get into another year, and then maybe another year, and a little more time passes. Heck, Georgia football waited 41 of them.
Yeah, I mean, for the Grizzlies, it's interesting because for the Blues, the issue wasn't, and I guess to a certain extent this is for the Grizzlies, but the Blues are always right there, and they've had some of the best players: Brett Hall, Wayne Gretzky, some of the best coaches, and Scotty Bowman and Al Arbor, and I mean, just going Joel Quenneville, and they were just never able to get the job done. It didn't matter Chris Pronger, Al McInnes. I'm naming names from yesteryear, but you get the idea. They were in the finals their first year of existence, the first couple years of existence, and then they didn't get back there
Keith Kachuk.
Keith Kachuk.
For
Shout out.
50 years, yet they were in the playoffs for 42 of those 50 years. So for the Grizzlies, I would say enjoy the journey. Like that's the one thing that I wish, like pre-2019 me would understand. I know it's painful, but you enjoy getting further and further in the playoffs. Hopefully they can continue to take steps forward.
Right.
And they're doing everything that they can to
look at the poor old Phoenix Suns, the poor old Utah Jazz. We're at the chopping block. They're getting ready to have the full tear down, and they've been around a long time and never have had the.
You were thinking
the
go
championship.
for it last year for them as the one seed
for
in the
both
Western
of
Conference.
them. For both of them.
Same with the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you're not in a big market, it's even more and more difficult to get to that spot. But I think that we can look at the Grizzlies and say that, well, if they're going to get there, it's going to be with this core led by this star player and this front office. So nothing's a given. Nothing is guaranteed,
right.
But they're in a better position to contend than any time I can remember.
Right, and nothing's guaranteed. That's the one thing you always have to keep in the back of your mind. I mean, these windows open and shut so fast, these championship windows. It's just one of those things. Talking with Alex Kuhn at Alex Kuhn 523 from KGYM Radio in Cedar Rapids. You're in Big Ten country. We're right in the heart of SEC country. So we've gotten to deal with the Jimbo Fisher, Nick Saban discussion. We've gone back and forth. From the outside looking in, from where you're at, how fun has it been to sort of cover that and watch that unfold in particular?
I mean, is fun the right word?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think.
No, I don't know. Like the first couple days afterwards, it was interesting to talk about, and I think that it's amazing that in that situation, still somehow, some way, Nick Saban came out of that kind of looking like the bigger man.
Well, yeah.
Jimbo. And that's kind of
Jimbo screwed himself over, though. Jimbo is the issue.
He looked guilty when he wasn't.
And that's kind of the MO for him, right? Like this is the second time that he's sort of talked about this, and I went back and I looked at the signing day press conference where he was calling out Lane Kiffin, not by name, but calling out journalists, calling out everybody who dared to maybe ask the question of whether or not he spent some money on his recruiting class. But yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it. He, instead of just saying no, we would never, just being calm, saying no, we would never pay recruits. But yeah, you come to Texas A&M, we're going to allow our athletes to take advantage of name, image, and likeness legislation that's legal.
Yep.
Then yeah, I mean, Jimbo Fisher's looking real good, but he didn't do that. He kind of I don't know how to describe it.
I'll say this though, dealing with Jimbo Fisher and having heard him in these press conferences, and when he gets accused of things and how thin-skinned he is, it was a Jimbo reaction. That was exactly how you'd expect him to react in that situation. And it's unfortunate because he could have come out looking golden.
Yeah, and he didn't. But I think things have calmed down, at least for now.
Right.
Alex, when I hear Greg Sankey talk about we'll have our playoffs just among us in the SEC, I know what he means by it. It sounds very pompous, but I know what he means because there's nothing to replace this system after 25. Now, we think something will get worked out, but we don't have anything else worked out, and he's kind of doomsday scenario here with we'll do our own thing, 8 teams out of the current 16. There was a time in my life that the SEC had 12 and 2 people left. Georgia Tech and Tulane left the SEC. Then the SEC was at 10 for a long time, and then in the early 90s, here comes South Carolina and Arkansas, and then A&M and Missouri, now Texas and OU. They're not stopping at 16. And here's my question for you. In 5 years, no. I'm going to go 7 years. In 7 years, could you see any member of the current Big Ten in a 20-team SEC?
Well, that was the scare at the beginning of all of this, and that's sort of the doomsday scenario for college football, really for college sports in general, because football drives everything. The question was when Texas and Oklahoma were taken from the Big 12 without any idea that was going to happen. That was the question. What is stopping the SEC from just going all Super League on us, like what Stan Kroenke and some of the owners tried to do with European soccer and the Premier League? So that, could I see that? Yeah. Do I hope for that? No. I don't think that.
And if it is, no disrespect to Minnesota and Indiana, but that's not who the SEC's coming after.
No.
They're going after the gold standard.
Yeah, Ohio State and Michigan. Could I see it? Sure. Everything's about money at this point, and that's understood, and that would make the conference a lot of money, and it would pretty much shut out the rest of the country from relevance. But could I see it? Yeah, I hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, and I really hope, and I can only hope because I know money speaks louder than hopes these days. I can only hope that Greg Sankey and the higher-ups at the SEC want to at least try and involve everyone else and keep college football looking relatively similar
and strong
right
regionally.
Now, right? And I feel like shutting off the rest of the country from the biggest championship in college football doesn't do that. It
if you added Ohio State, Michigan,
and we're talking
Clemson
about
and Florida State, then that's college football, and everybody else is closed off.
Yeah, and we're talking about the most tribalistic sport, one of the most tribalistic sports in the U.S. right this second.
No doubt, Gabe.
Because of how we sort of follow our universities and everything else. So I hope cooler heads sort of prevail there, and they start to realize that maybe involving everyone.
And I don't want that. I want it stopped at 16. I don't know how much I really wanted Texas and OU, but here
we are. Right. Here we are. But, Alex, appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining us.
Yep, talk to you guys next week.
He is Alex Kuhn, Alex Kuhn 523. His show, KGYM Radio in Cedar Rapids. His show, Todd Brommelkamp Show with Alex Kuhn, runs 4 to 6. Check it out. Now, brace yourself for an existential question. Has your butt been having enough fun lately? If not, then it's time to start using SeatGeek. The SeatGeek app's the best way to get tickets for live events. The variety is fantastic. Beale Street Music Fest tickets, you got them. You want to go see Mempho Fest, you can get them on there. You want to see a show around town at the Orpheum or Minglewood Hall, they have them on there. You want to see a comedian, they have them on there. But the tickets for sports are the ones I want to point you guys in the right direction for. You can get Grizz tickets. You can get Tiger tickets, football, basketball, the whole 9 yards on there and at the best prices. And SeatGeek is so beloved by butts everywhere because they've made it the highest-rated ticketing app. SeatGeek rates every ticket from 0 to 10 to make sure you're getting a good deal, very user-friendly. Green means good, and red means bad. And here's what I'm going to do to sweeten the deal for you. You can get $20 off your first purchase with promo code GABE56. That's GABE56 at SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. Again, promo code GABE56, GABE56 for $20 off your first SeatGeek order. SeatGeek, get your seat in a seat. Download the app today. Let's go ahead and get to our final break of hour number 1. When we come back, we have some Tiger basketball to discuss. DeAndre Williams is back. We're waiting on an answer from Lester Quinones right here on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Crossroad Motors, located in Olive Branch, is not a typical dealership. They only sell late model trucks and Jeeps. Many of their vehicles have already been lifted with new off-road wheels and tires. Not in the market for a new vehicle? Let them customize yours the way you want it. They install lifts, levels, off-road tires, wheels, and much more. 90 days same as cash on all customizations or extended financing. Buy one of their vehicles or let them build yours. Check their vehicles on Facebook. Search Crossroad Motors Olive Branch or call 901-545-5190. Look different, drive different.
The NBA playoffs is the world's greatest celebration of basketball. Hennessy champions the moves players are making on and off the court because true greatness is making a long-term impact on your community. Make moves that start movements. Hennessy, the spirit of the NBA. Please enjoy Hennessy responsibly.
It's important for a really great bar to have a few things: a relaxed atmosphere, cold beer, excellent cocktails, and in the case of Bell Tavern, Memphis' perfect downtown bar, a Harold. He's been a bartender in Memphis for decades, and everywhere he's been, he's become legendary. Harold may not remember you the first couple of times you come to Bell Tavern, but he will remember a story about the time he did something insane in some place like Alaska that involves something like a bear and a canoe and a flare gun. You can find Harold most nights at Bell Tavern, tucked into Barbaro Alley. The easiest way to find the tavern and Harold is to walk right through the dining room at 117 Prime.
DQ presents the sound of an all-star summer lineup. Leading off, the promising rookie, new Oreo Dirt Pie. On deck, the fan-favorite Girl Scout Thin Mints. Summer standouts, drumstick with peanuts and cotton candy. And batting cleanup, it's you. With your red spoon and 6 summer blizzard flavors, official treat of MLB. All part of the new DQ All-Star Summer Blizzard lineup. DQ? Happy tastes good.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. As we all know, Memphis can be a hotbed for severe weather, and that weather can play havoc on our roofs. Most people don't know what they should do first when they're concerned about the condition of their roof. Call their insurance company, call a contractor, or trust a door-to-door salesman that's making claims that are hard to believe. My advice would be call the contractor that you know and trust. If you don't know any, research your local contractors and give 2 or 3 a call. I hope your research will lead you to us. Have your roof inspected, decide for yourself what you should do, and whether or not you should file a claim with your insurance company. It's your home, it's your policy, and it's your money. Don't let anyone pressure you into anything. If you give Five Ash Roofing a call, we promise personal service with a member of our family with no pressure and no hype. Five Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Open the door, sit in the seat, turn the key, and go.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back in on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He's Stats producing program. Brian Dacus, as always, on the 1s and 2s. Now, news of the day from the Tiger basketball program. DeAndre Williams announced at about 10 a.m. this morning that he's going to be back. We'll start with that. I think a fantastic,
great news, great
piece of news. If you're a Tiger basketball fan, you need to have him on that roster. When he's been playing, the Tigers are somewhere in the ballpark of 36-11 over the 2 years he's actually been a part of the program. So he has been the key to unlocking the best Tiger teams we've seen in the past 2 years. Now, I still think there are some holes in this roster that they have to fill.
Yeah, I'm with you, Gabe. It's by no means a complete team, and Lester Quinones will certainly go a long way to that. But even with him, it's not that. I don't know that on opening night for 22-23, it's going to be a couple things. I think it's going to be the least anticipated opening night of the Penny Hardaway years.
No question.
I also think it will be on paper, stars and cachet and elan and all that good stuff. It will appear to be the least talented since maybe the first team, but that ended up being a pretty talented team for no other reason. Jeremiah Martin. Now they got a big one with Kendrick Davis to play that role, and he may be better. I don't know that.
Here's the one thing that's going to be substantially different from years before with Penny Hardaway teams. And I know, like last year, obviously they finally broke through, get into the second round of the tournament, take Gonzaga down to the wire. I get the whole thing. But the depth is something that's going to be severely hurting. And that's something that he has that Penny has hung his hat on. He likes playing deep rotations. He loves it. He loves to have guys off the bench who can come in and fill roles defensively. And seemingly, with what they have right now, roster-wise, you're going to have to keep whoever your 5 starters are in a considerable amount of time. And that's going to be different.
And I don't know where it's going to happen next year, but you can count on this. There's going to be that 2-3 game stretch that DeAndre Williams, because of that back barking, that he's going to have to have a pass on those nights. Now, if it's in a lighter portion of the schedule, maybe a home game against, ECU and a road game. I was going to say Tulane, but last year that happened. That wasn't so easy.
That's a great point. He's going to be 26 when the season starts.
And that back's going to bark. It always does.
He already had issues last year with his back down the stretch of the season. Now, once he came back from that back injury, the team was substantially better.
It was the best push of the year.
It was the greatest push of the year. It was the best team they had. Honestly, I mean, best performances of the Penny Hardaway era when he came back from his back injury. Now, on the other hand, yes, you get good news, but you have not received the good news from Lester Quinones. And the one frustrating thing about this Lester Quinones thing is if you do not get him back, I don't know who else on this roster right now can replace what he gives you. That's the one. You look at guys like Jonathan Lawson maybe, or Jaden Hardaway as a redshirt senior, or
Elijah get your feet set 3.
Elijah McCadden. Those are the guys. Those are the replacements you have for Lester. He provides a lot in regards to sort of knockdown shooting and
that corner three, that elbow
three, that spot shooting, and also he's your best perimeter defender. And replacing a guy like that who really has, when you look back at that recruiting class, one of the most steady guys you got out of that recruiting class.
Defense there
stayed around the entire time too.
Sure did.
So
he sure did.
It's you really want to hear that good news.
You don't have the Harris 3-point threat. You don't have the Nolly 3-point threat. And if Landers Nolly doesn't return, you don't have the Nolly 3-point threat. This hour of our show, first hour of our show, brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Driving luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for a luxury driving experience. 901-334-9673. We so appreciate you, Lexus of Memphis, every day, the title sponsor of our first hour. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
That'll do it for hour number 1. When we come back for hour number 2, we're going to be absolutely jam-packed. When we come back, we're going to have John going at about 4:30. We're going to talk some NBA Finals and get into what Draymond Green and KD had to say in their back and forth yesterday on social media. And then at the bottom of the hour, we get to Way Back Wednesday. You're listening to Sports Time with Gabe and Stats.
It's time for another season of golf at Miramichi. You know the spot, 15 minutes north of downtown in Woodstock. I call it heaven. It's 330 acres of natural beauty, 7,400 yards of championship-level golf, but there are several different tee boxes which make it fun or competitive for every level of golf. And the practice facilities are as good as any country club, and every round of golf comes with a cart and complimentary range balls. You can really improve your game, and you'll love the prices, too. Seniors can play Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for as low as $33. Again, the golf cart and the range balls are thrown in. The standard weekday rates are as low as $44. Friday, it's $50, and on Sunday, it's $55. You'll love the view from the terrace. You look out and see the best view in all of Shelby County. The whole experience, it's just fantastic. Go check it out yourself at Miramichi.
for the latest from the world of golf. Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56. Real sports talk.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Found a great new restaurant in Horn Lake, Mississippi, Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's on Highway 51, Horn Lake, Mississippi. Bring back those childhood memories from homemade Sloppy Joe's to mouth-watering cheeseburgers, spicy or regular fries, chicken tenders, chicken wings, jumbo hot dogs. Just a little secret, Sloppy Joe's has got that nachos cheese on it. On fire, delicious. Fried catfish that melts in your mouth. Light batter too, even homemade lemon cake. Check us out. Don't forget Q's Sloppy Joe's. Daily breakfast from 7A to 10A. Try Q's Big Breakfast. 3 homemade gigantic pancakes, 3 meats, 3 eggs for $10.75. Generous portions. Come hungry. Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's, 5441 Highway 51. Just 20 minutes from Memphis. Can't miss it. Beautiful old brick house. Mr. Q's Sloppy Joe's, 5441 Highway 51, Horn Lake, Mississippi.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Oh, yeah.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Dad, come on, you're going to fall on the barbecue.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Hour 2 is upon us on Sportstime on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. And if you want to reach out to us at any point, AutoZone listener line is 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Send us your text, questions, comments, concerns about anything we have discussed today. You can also watch us live and message us on our social, Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Let's bring in our good friend John Goen from Timber Trust Golf for some golf talk and some picks. And John has shot up the leaderboard for us, it seems, on our picks. Number
hey guys,
2.
I'm not quite sure whether you can hear this, but that was the sweet smell of victory from last week.
I hear you. There you go.
Oh, that's great, John. The meteoric rise.
Oh, no. I don't know.
Oh, slow and steady, the pro, just out there just making par, and look what he did.
Blind squirrel, baby.
John, we've got a situation on the tour that I didn't think we would face. I thought one or two names might go to Live Golf. I never thought it'd be Dustin Johnson, and I never thought it would not be Phil Mickelson.
Yeah, obviously the field got announced, and I'll be honest. It is going to create a very big issue for the tour, considering who has now kind of, for lack of a better term, I guess, defected to that event. And you're talking about a U.S. Open winner and a Masters winner, and so now what do you do? Right about the time you maybe felt like you had everybody corralled in. It is interesting that Phil's not in that field. I think that continues to be the biggest head scratcher of all of this. Is this kind of one of those tour imposed suspensions without really talking about it, and Phil's taking time away, trying to, kind of get back in line with everything. I think now with Dustin jumping ship, you would think it's got to really open the door for Phil to be able to step into this without any major issues. Because there's no possible way that you can suspend Dustin Johnson or kick him off the tour, revoke his card, do whatever. They have clearly now been challenged by one of their best players, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see how the tour is going to handle this moving forward.
And you've said this every step of the way, but when you look at the amount of money that was offered to Dustin Johnson to go play on the Live Golf Invitational Series, $125 million when he's only made $73 million on the PGA Tour. I'm not saying that the PGA Tour, from their disciplinary action, is going to take that into consideration or even understand his decision as a whole. But I think when you talk about the public and the perception of why he made the decision, I think there's a lot more understanding from fans and media alike.
I just find it so interesting that his sponsors are already jumping ship in this whole thing. And again, I don't know whether that's just hey, we support the tour and we're not going to support anybody that goes and does this, or what. But to your point, it's $78 million. He's going to make $125 million without even having to go win anything else.
Right.
Doesn't have to do anything else. And of course, I love social media's reaction to the whole thing too. All these people that are saying good riddance and, this, that, and the other. Come on.
Really?
Come on.
To a two-time major winner. And John.
A guy who's won here twice?
Exactly.
Right.
A guy that's been good to Memphis when we needed people to be good to Memphis. Help me with this, John. As I understand it, the PGA of America would no longer allow him to be on Ryder and President Cup teams?
That's the line they're drawing in the sand right now. But, again, I don't know how you do that. I mean, I just don't understand how you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And,
if you can't punish them with that, then there will be more defections.
Sure. But, okay, let's face it. Does the Ryder Cup and President's Cup really matter to these guys?
That's been a hotly debated thing. To some, I think it really stirs it, but to a lot of them, it's a lot of work for zero pay.
Right, and so you're going to go over there. You're going to play in 11 events. 11 events.
Right, and
then you can be done.
Yep.
You don't have to go through the 15 event grind or more than that, depending on your PGA Tour schedule. And you're paid guaranteed money. I mean, that's been the thing from day one to get all these players to go over there. I mean, back in the day, Tiger was getting paid more money to show up and play in an event over there than what the purse was worth. I mean, Tiger was getting $2 million just to show up and go play in Saudi Arabia or in Dubai or wherever over there. It was more than what the winner of the event was getting. Right. So, and the tour's always frowned on that, but there's always been indirect ways to somewhat guarantee people showing up for your event too, whether it's, hey, come for our corporate sponsored outing or whatever, we'll pay you XYZ. We'd like to be able to see you, show up in this event here or there, So I don't know. I mean, I think it's just so petty that we're into this. I think the competition part of it is going to be great. Here's going to be the most hypocritical part of this though, too, guys. And that is if all of a sudden in the distant, not so distant future, you start seeing more team events on the PGA Tour schedule and not just twosome events like in New Orleans. If you start seeing
three-man scramble
team events, I'm just telling you,
no.
If there is interest in this tour because of the team format and everything else, do not be surprised if the PGA Tour all of a sudden starts putting.
Hell, John, the Live's going to have a shotgun start. If we get down to three-man scrambles, why don't we just have a Calcutta on Saturday night?
Hey, that'd be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? What do you think that Calcutta would get to? That'd be a good one.
Can we bring in the betting apps? Can we bring in FanDuel and things and have
absolutely
have the Calcutta on Saturday night for the Pumpkin Ridge Classic?
I'll buy part of that team in a heartbeat. You kidding? I want my cut.
I love it.
But I mean, but let's face it though, too. That's the biggest part of this, right? The biggest part of all of this is how do we get people interested to be able to gamble at it?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there's no doubt. John, you mentioned the whole morality question and ethics and things around the sponsors. And I'm not here to give anybody a morality lesson, but if they're going to run from Dustin Johnson over being in bed with the Saudis, but at the same time, the tour still has an event in Shanghai if Shanghai ever gets reopened, and we just have no trouble at all with what's being done to the Uyghurs, I guess.
Look, but here's the thing though, too, guys. Everybody's what is the European Tour's version of the FedEx Cup? It's called the Race to Dubai.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right. That's right.
What's the big deal? What's the
John.
big deal?
Again, I continue
This is the biggest hypocrisy ever.
I continue to say it. If Phil Mickelson did not say what he said, what would the reaction to someone actually going, like to Dustin Johnson today, what would the full reaction be?
Oh, I think it'd be 40 of them, wouldn't you, John?
Oh, I mean, look, in some way, shape, or fashion, the tour is manipulating this from a player perspective. I can't believe that these guys are this afraid of wanting to go do this. I don't know how they've done it. Not everybody on the tour can take Tiger's stance of Jack and Arnie and all the guys built this thing when they, left the PGA of America. And, I believe in what this is and blah, 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 blah. Right? I mean, not everybody's doing this. But, I mean, clearly, this is where I think you run into the biggest challenge, right? It's the guys from, call it 70 on down. You saw the Hudson Swaffords and you saw Kevin Na and you saw, those guys are going to go over there and make more money than they made on tour. Yeah, Taylor Gooch. Taylor Gooch has actually, had
right there
a fairly decent career, right?
Better believe Hudson Swafford as well.
When you've got guys that have made a career like $18 million on the PGA Tour, and you've got the Saudis that are going to pay them $30+ million to show up and go play golf over there. I don't know. We are all about capitalism over here. We are all about being able to make more money.
Right.
And now all of a sudden we're not. Please don't go over there and do this.
And, John, it's going to be quite interesting, quite paradoxical, quite hypocritical, if you will, that some of the big, heavy comments from the media about it, and I don't know everybody's stand on it, but what if Live Golf drops a boatload of money for media talent and they hire Brando Chambly, they hire Peter Costas, they hire Gary McCord, they hire Bill McAtee? Who's to say they won't?
Trust me. Dog. As much as they probably want a Jim Nantz to do this, they can't. There's no way that they can probably pull that off. But if you've got guys like Buck and Troy Aikman that just left Fox to go to ESPN for the Monday Night Football deal, when Buck was doing both baseball and football, right? And then of course he makes his appearance, during the PGA Championship, which was with Michael Collins, that was kind of interesting. But if they're throwing the amount of money at the players that they're throwing,
right,
they're going to go out and get somebody.
What if they hired Charles Barkley?
Wouldn't be terrible.
And then
terrible. Wouldn't be terrible.
It would not be terrible.
And then I'm curious about TV contracts and everything else. Where you're going to be able to stream this, watch this, the whole 9 yards.
Look, in the days of streaming, you're going to find it.
No question. I don't doubt that. The slightest. But if there's big networks that attach their name to it.
Well, even from their perspective, if you can sell ad space for that, but again, the other side of this, and I know we kind of somewhat brushed it off a little bit, but can the networks and the Live Tour, or the other side of this whole thing too, the regular tour, where are they tied into the gambling aspect of this?
Right.
Because nowadays you can't turn on a PGA Tour event and then not come back from commercial and talk about what the odds are of so-and-so being able to win.
Yep.
So, what portion of the gambling proceeds are people getting from this to ultimately offset whatever their potential cost might be involved in?
Yeah, that's a good point. And back to a conversation earlier, what realistically, and I'm sort of posing, just throwing this out there to you, Brett, Brian, anybody out there, what realistically, the PGA Tour is talking about disciplinary action, what could that really look like? When we're talking about suspensions, how long would that be? If Dustin Johnson plays theoretically
does that cost us Dustin Johnson in Memphis in August?
Does he play one season over there and then come back? And how long would he be banned here? Would they really have the backbone to have him suspended for a couple years?
Do they force him to go back through the Corn Ferry Tour to be able to gain his status back?
Oh my gosh, that would be silly. That'd be so silly.
Question. Which you would also think though. Well, okay, so in this situation, then in Dustin Johnson's situation, he loses all of his exempt status, right? career earnings, major wins, all that stuff. So he's going to lose all of his status from that. I mean, so if you're the tour and he loses all of his status, in essence, wouldn't it be like finishing below 125 on the money list? So they're going to ultimately have to push him back to qualify through the Korn Ferry Tour?
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you.
I can't see Dustin Johnson playing in Wichita.
I see Dustin Johnson making $125 million, and then the Saudis are going to figure this whole thing out, and this thing's going to continue to move along and forward. And Dustin Johnson's going to re-up for another $125 million whenever this contract's over. And Dustin Johnson's going to go live his life and play in 11 events a year and probably have a much better quality of life on top of whatever he currently has, because he's only going to have to play in 11 events. It's going to preserve his body for a longer period of time, and he's going to have a great life.
Good deal if you can get it. This week of all weeks, the Memorial Jack Nicklaus's tournament at Muirfield Village Golf Club in his
Jack
beloved.
loves this too.
Don't you know it? Don't you know he loves having to be peppered with questions about this? I don't think they'll get too rough on him. Here are the standings. I'm barely in first. John with the good week last week in second. Gabe right there in third, and Bryant right there in fourth. We are as tightly compacted. We're going to stay at the Shock at 40 and up. We may look at that later, but John had a good comeback to that last night. It's worked so well. We're this tightly compacted. Why change anything that's made it this good much fun? So with that, Gabe, you lead off.
Bryant leads off.
I'm sorry, Bryant leads
Bryant.
off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No music this week.
No, I'm back in my comfortable spot.
Okay.
Cricket from
fourth
Bryant
place.
this week with his little walk-up music.
I hear it.
Cricket.
Yeah, but hey, next week when we're back closer to the top, we'll have more music. I'm going to go with Colin Morikawa.
Oh,
Very good.
You know what? You know what? Full disclosure.
No, I know what he's about
Full
to say.
disclosure. This is unreal.
No, I'm telling you.
This is unreal, guys.
My
Before
golf
the
guy
show-
gave me the picks. I
my
hadn't looked at
gosh.
him yet when we talked before the show.
Before the show, this guy.
Not true.
You know what? I'm not even going to tell the whole story. Just know he's a snake, guys.
I'm not a
Just
snake.
know that
I'm
we
not
have
a
a
snake.
snake in the grass on this show.
Hey, look, I can't tell you what my golf guy gives. It's not my pick. My golf guys.
The first four picks this
Oh,
week
my
are
gosh.
as easy as any to predict of the year. With that, Gabe, you're second.
Give me John Rahm.
Okay, 2 out of 2 so far on the easy picks of the year. Pro?
Give me Patrick Cantlay.
The champion last year when it really should have been John Rahm's. I did not have him in my easy 4, though, but that is a good pick. So I will go with my first pick, and I'm going to go with Cameron Smith. Back around to the Shocks. Bryant.
I'm gonna go with Mito.
Mito, you're going
Mito
Mito?
is a great
There
pick.
you go. He's been playing well.
Which is another guy that Gabe mentioned before the show.
I mentioned.
But my golf guy told me to take Mito. I have proof here for you, Gabe, if you want to look at
I
it.
can't fully blame Bryant because I did sort of show my hand.
No,
But-
it's not
but
even
same
that.
time-
I just love the amount of disgust in Gabe's voice when he's just like, Mito.
Mito. There we go.
It's gotten serious, hasn't it?
My golf guy. He's sending me my picks. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, Gabe. This is
Mito was
morning.
what? Mito was 7th last week.
All right,
right?
Dave accused you of having a hockey guy. Now
I do
you
not
have a
have
known
a hockey
golf guy.
I do not have a hockey guy. I do have a golf guy.
Confessed golf guy.
Yes.
So the rest
But
of
no
us
hockey
do this
guy.
on our own, and Bryant has a guy.
And he's last. Isn't that kind of interesting?
We had a big talk this week
John,
about
it doesn't
hey
make
we're
much
not
sense,
doing well. We need to get some winners.
Hold on. I mean, I got a guy.
I got a guy.
Golf pick guy.
My golf guy.
That has continued to remain anonymous too. We've asked. We have prodded.
Confidentiality.
We have tried, John. Maybe you can get the
I
answer out of
mean,
him.
I doubt it. I'd have to come up with better play on music than.
Yeah, exactly.
Shock us, Gabe.
Let's go Keegan Bradley. Give me Keegan Bradley.
It's a good pick, Gabe.
Thank
you. It's a good one. It's a good one.
All right, John.
Yeah. Let's see. I will admit that I did like Keegan Bradley in that spot there. But
great minds think alike, John.
Here we go, and the butter up begins.
And greater minds have golf guys to make their picks
Yeah,
for
right.
them.
Anonymous golf guys.
Clearly, greater minds don't have golf guys.
I'm in first. I like making my picks.
we throw darts at a board and figure it out, you know. But
That's fair.
all right, we're he let me down during my major pick, but I will take him this week. I'm going to take Mark Leishman.
There it is.
Mark Leishman, and I will take – he's been really close. Had a tough closing round on Sunday when everybody did. When there was a 2-hour stretch there when the wind was blowing, it looked like nobody knew how to play. But I'm going to take from Alabama in college, 94 official world golf ranking, Davis Riley.
There you go. That was
a good pick.
That's up there
it's
for
a good
me.
pick.
That is a good pick.
He's had some good finishes. Just can't get it
John,
across the victory line there.
The weather is broken, kind of hot and dry. I know it's fully dried out down at Timber Trust. Tell our listeners about the great play they can enjoy down there. I know you had a big Memorial weekend, and it starts tomorrow night with your scramble.
Yeah, so we're actually hoping we get some of this rain that's getting ready to move through the area. Although it looks like it's fizzling out, we threw fertilizer all over the world today in anticipation of all this rain that was kind of being forecast, and now it looks like it's kind of dissolving as it comes across the river per about normal. But golf course is great temperatures after today. Everything kind of cools down. The golf course continues to improve. We've finally gotten a good stretch to be able to grow some grass, and so you can come visit us, book us a tee time there at timbertrustgolf.com, or you can call us at 662-895-3530. 895-3530, 662 is the area code there. And tomorrow night, 2-man scramble. I'm sure there's still a couple of spots left, but we have been definitely filling up the last few weeks there. But just a good time of year. We're coming off of the Memorial Day weekend, and everybody kind of takes that first opportunity to get out of town with the kids after everybody's out of school. But great weather this weekend, just absolutely spectacular, and should be a great weekend to be able to come down and play golf.
Great stuff. He is John Goen from Timber Trust Golf. John,
Thank
always
you, John.
appreciate it.
Y'all take care. Brian?
Thank you, John.
Good luck with your golf pick, guy.
Thank you, John. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, John. A lot of fun.
There you go, Bryant. Your golf pick guy, who will remain anonymous the entire
I
season.
heard John Harden the other day say he had a guy. I didn't know what he was talking about. Golf? What?
John has a lot. He has a lot.
He
of
has
guys
several guys
for different reasons, for a variety of different reasons. But that is what it is. Yeah. I still need to figure out. So are we?
It's 2 guys. They run simulations.
I've asked this,
but I'm only in
times.
contact with one of them.
After the year, are you going to let us in on
maybe?
Okay.
I'll have to talk to him. It's a confidentiality thing.
Right.
So I don't want to breach our contract that was never written up.
Wow.
So I'll have to talk to him.
Okay. So that NDA you never signed, huh?
Yeah, the one I never signed. We'll have to go over it. Look at the fine print and stuff like that.
Understood. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of hour number 2. When we come back, we have some NBA Finals discussion, and we also have to talk about the social media spat between Draymond Green and Kevin Durant himself. You're listening to Sports Time with Gabe and Stats on Sports 56, 98.5.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 98.5 FM, and 96.1 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, where we've got more ways to get you what you need your way. Get the job done today with our free same-day store pickup. Just order online and pick it up the same day at your local AutoZone. Or get it done tomorrow with our free next-day delivery. Just order on AutoZone.com by 10 p.m. and we'll deliver it to you the next day. Getting your job done just got easier. Free next-day delivery and eligible orders. Restrictions at AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Barden Stone has been serving the Mid-South area for over 3 generations. What sets them apart and makes them unique? Landscape Stone Center. They have one of the largest selections with a wide variety of colors and sizes. all the way from cobblestones to garden rock and pebbles from ground cover, plus fieldstone and flagstone, stepping stones and stacking stones, even landscape boulders. In addition to a wide variety of stones and rocks, Barden Stone staff is very knowledgeable. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or design professional, Barden Stone can answer any question pertaining to the use of stones from A to Z. Barden Stone, they know stone inside and out. Barden Stone, 1 mile south of Park at 1557 Cherry Road. Barden Stone, open for you Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Call 901-683-8264 and visit Barden Stone.
Stop wasting your time struggling to loosen rusted nuts and bolts. Start using Freol Deep Penetrating Oil. Freol spreads deep into rusted or frozen parts to help release tough bolts and washers. Its formula delivers 3 times more lubricant. That means less sprays, less torque, and less time than any other penetrating oil on the market. It's even silicone-free. Professionals have trusted Freol Deep Penetrating Oil for over 40 years. Now it's your turn. Get Freol today at AutoZone, O'Reilly, and Napa. Look for the silver can.
Barks now offers you just about everything you need for your furry family member. Daycare, luxury boarding, award-winning grooming, veterinary checkups, diagnostic services including digital x-ray, fluoroscopy and ultrasound, complete dental service, vaccinations, preventative care for fleas, ticks, and heartworms, and just about any needed surgical treatment. And did I mention that we treat cats and all types of exotic pets? We are the newest member of the Barks family and the newest, most high-tech veterinary hospital in the Mid-South. Located directly across the street from Barks and Recreation, we are a full-service hospital with a fantastic, experienced staff. If you're having problems getting a timely appointment at your current vet's facility, we are here to serve you. Call us at 901-979-8888. Barks and Medication. Excellence in veterinary care.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
How do you want that cooked? Burn to a crisp or bloody as hell?
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
First game of the NBA Finals, 2022 NBA Finals, is tomorrow night, 8 p.m. in the Bay, in San Fran, in Chase Center. And right now, it looks like the Warriors are 3.5-point favorites. Now, I saw today the NBA Finals MVP award, which I know that it has eluded Steph Curry for quite some time now. The odds have dropped on who are the shortest odds, who's a favorite to win that award. Even money right now, you can get Steph Curry. After that, Jason Tatum at plus 180, and then there's a fall off. Jaylen Brown plus 1,000, Klay Thompson plus 1,500, Draymond Green plus 1,800. That is one thing, and we talked about it yesterday. That's one thing that Steph Curry has certainly been criticized for. He doesn't get criticized for a whole lot, but not having that Finals MVP and being known as a playoff player has certainly bit him in regards to how the media discusses him.
And if they win it, I think he'll do enough commensurate with the victory for the series that he'll be there. And I think the sports writers, not that it's any participation trophy, but I think if he is close to winning it, I think they'll vote for him for this final designation that he lacks. And I don't think it anywhere comes close to impeaching his great career.
Not.
NBA Finals only. The all-time leading point scorer is Jerry West with 1,679. LeBron is second at 1,562. Kareem is third at 1,317. Steph Curry's 14th with 741 points. So let's say he averaged 20 points, just 20, over a 7-game series. He would move up to around 11th. Klay Thompson is now at 29th. If he averaged about 15 a game, he would move up to around 25th if it's 7-game series. Draymond Green, he's at 53 right now. Let's say he averaged.
That seems high even.
Let's say he averages 12 a game, and moves up to around 36. Then I go over to the rebounding total. Draymond Green's 21st all-time in NBA Finals. If he just averaged 6 a game over 7 games and got to around 300 or so all-time, you could look up after these finals and Draymond Green be the 36th leading scorer in the history of the NBA Finals and around the 12th or 13th leading rebounder.
That's about being there more than anything.
And he's up there in assists.
That's about playing games in the NBA Finals.
You got to get
most
there.
Of it. But for
He's
Draymond,
12th in assists.
You did say, and he could certainly add to that and move up that list.
Could move into the top 10 easily.
You said 12 points per game, averaging through 7 games in these playoffs or in these finals for Draymond Green. That just doesn't seem possible considering the situation. What he's regressed as a scorer, and he provides more in distributing these days. 12 points is something. Getting to double-digit points for Draymond Green has been an uphill climb at this point in his career.
Do you think they can win this series with him only averaging around 5 points a game?
Yes, I certainly do. As long as he's providing what he normally provides, good defense and rebounding and not turning the ball over a crazy amount like he did, I think, in that Grizzlies series for the most part. If he is providing his dives to the hoop, kicking it out for good open looks and distributing the ball like he has, I think his scoring's irrelevant, and it's sort of proven to be irrelevant for the Warriors with this new look run they've made. I mean, the scoring is not something that's important to them anymore. He has morphed his game.
Poole and Wiggins can do that
to fit them very well, and it's bizarre because when you look at Draymond's stats, and I know when you look at visibly what he does to impact the game, this conversation changes. But when you look at just pure stats, you would think that Draymond's a relatively replaceable player. But they do not play the same without him on the floor.
May I ask a hard one?
Go ahead.
LeBron's second in scoring. He's about 117 behind Jerry West to be first. He is fourth in rebounding. He's light years from Bill Russell. He's light years from Wilt for second. Not far from Elgin Baylor for third. LeBron is second in assists, about 154 behind Magic Johnson. Does LeBron James ever play in a single NBA Finals game again?
Oh, gosh. You should have asked me this high hard ones on Friday.
There's a tricky answer to this.
Not with the Lakers, I don't
That's
think.
it. That's the tricky part. He does, but not with the Lakers.
Does he, though? I mean, by the time he gets done with that Lakers contract, it'll be, 37 going on 38?
This building Cleveland team that he talks about one more homecoming with.
I guess, but you have other guys out there that aren't scared.
And the unicorn of teams.
Here's the
New York, the Knicks.
The other thing we've seen, though, is no one seems to, these days, with this new breed of superstar that's coming through, the Jason Tatums, the Giannis's, the Lucas, they don't care. They don't care. They will face up against LeBron and play LeBron all day. And I think to obviously LeBron's had to morph a little bit, and he's just, I mean, he's ridiculous. He's half man, half amazing in the grand scheme. It's just, I can't believe he stayed as healthy as he has through his career. But the up-tempo style for him these days has made him slow down on the defensive end. I don't know if anybody's as scared of LeBron as they once were. Obviously, it's LeBron James. I understand that. But the Luka Doncic's of the world, the Giannis's of the world, the Ja Morant's of the world, they don't seem to care anymore about that older breed of superstar. And Steph Curry's,
if he doesn't have any help, there's not that much. Well, there's still a lot to be scared of, but he has to have some help.
Yes, he does. And with the Cavs, cool, I understand that, but what would you have to do to make that work on that roster? You're paying Jared Allen a lot of money. Darius Garland.
Well, that's down the road. I don't think it's next year.
Going to have to get a lot of money. So there's a lot of different things that would.
I just wonder how many more years with the Lakers
acquiring LeBron. One thing I was thinking about with this Warriors team and how they've gotten to where they've gotten. Getting Andrew Wiggins and getting him to fill this role has been pretty insane. And you think about what their front office did to actually acquire Andrew Wiggins. They sign and trade Kevin Durant, send him off to the Nets. They get D'Angelo Russell, a couple of other people in return. Then they offload D'Angelo Russell to the Timberwolves for Andrew Wiggins. And the Timberwolves were so happy. They're like, okay, let's offload this. I'll take D'Angelo Russell to
got better
to put next to Karl Anthony Towns. But it's worked out for the Warriors in a substantial way. Andrew Wiggins, for all of the conversations about what he has been in his career, he has accepted this role and advanced this Warriors team past the KD era, past their first dynastic run, and I think that another one could be in store for them.
It sure could be, but in this series, who's he going to guard?
Andrew Wiggins?
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Wiggins he's good. I mean, he can D up.
I saw what Luka Doncic just did to him.
Well, that's Luka. I mean, that happens. Would they win the series 5? They won the series 4-1. So it is what it is. Yeah, Luka got his, but making it harder here and there is what he's there to do. Andrew Wiggins is a very underrated defensive player, in my opinion, because what the Warriors ask him to do now with Clay sort of not what he once was.
Underrated or about properly rated?
I think a little bit underrated. Right these days with the Warriors, what they do with Andrew Wiggins, they throw him on the best perimeter player on the other team. So in all likelihood, I would imagine.
I'm trying to remember, who did he guard in the Grizzlies series?
Oh, gosh. Who was he on?
I don't recall.
Probably would have been Dylan Brooks.
Or Bain
most of the time, generally speaking.
And Bain was limited.
And obviously there's some switching going on. So
sure.
Yeah. So he, regardless of that, he had to deal with Luka in this past series. And I would imagine that he draws the assignment first of Jason Tatum. That's probably Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. They're going to have to stick him on there, and he's going to have to play some good one-on-one defense. But that's what they ask him to do, and he has accepted that role. So Andrew Wiggins, I think through these, he's finally showing exactly what he needs to be on a winning team. Now, yesterday we had the Kevin Durant, Draymond Green spat. Draymond Green went on Colin Cowherd's podcast on The Volume. Obviously, he's contracted also by Colin Cowherd as his own podcast with The Volume. But this is what Draymond Green had to say about what was going on when Steph and KD were on those Warriors teams at the same time.
Kevin Durant was absolutely incredible in those finals runs. As you know,
right.
You watched it. We all watched it. Kevin Durant was absolutely insane. Steph Curry got double-teamed probably 7 times the amount that KD did in a given series. So when you watch those games and you say, his numbers could be a little down, he's facing a double team. And by the way, this isn't a double team from the Orlando Magic. This is a double team from a team that's playing in the finals, which we know if you're in the finals, you're going to have a good defense. These are real double teams. This ain't some team that's throwing together a game plan the night before and then rolling their players out there that can't play half dead. This isn't that.
Right.
This is elite teams throwing elite defenders at guys.
Now, that's what he had to say. He said Steph saw 7 times more double teams than KD. KD goes to Twitter, as he normally does in these situations. Somebody actually asked him what he thought.
If he was high?
Hey, he admitted that with David Letterman.
He said he's always high, right?
I went and watched that whole thing. My next guest, David Letterman and him, that was actually a pretty interesting episode. But KD goes on Twitter and he says, this is 100% false. Draymond responds, you have to learn to listen to full takes and not snippets before you get baited into tweeting, champ. KD comes back, I see it, my brethren. I appreciate the compliments, but I disagree with what you said about double teams. That's all. I love the show. Now, and always with Kevin Durant, like there's a double-edged sword. I think there's some people who always talk about,
first-time caller, long-time listener. I wish you'd have said that to him.
We want athletes to speak their mind and to let us know unfiltered how they feel. Kevin Durant does that, but then he gets slapped down. Then we don't appreciate it. I'll say this. Dre is 100% correct about Steph seeing more double teams at that time. He's 100% correct. Ty Lue said it recently, I believe, in an interview. Obviously, he dealing with he was the Cavs coach, dealing with them. He said that they had to double team Steph a lot more. But the only thing I'd say to Draymond, 7 times more? 7 times more. And Draymond's new to the sort of, he's getting himself used to media, news media, and understanding how it goes. But you have to be a little bit more factual than that in that situation when you're talking about that time. And part of it, too, he was trying to take away from what Kevin Durant did with the Warriors. And you know there's some vitriol in regards to those two and the back and forth they've had on this very subject.
Yeah, but Draymond didn't mind winning those titles with him.
No, he didn't. He didn't, and he gave him his credit. But
you knew that you would have a post-Warrior feeling like this around those two. You knew it.
It's weird, though, because he's trying to take away from Kevin Durant and the Finals MVPs he won. I guess that's sort of the idea behind that conversation and the quote that he gave. But I think it's indisputable. Kevin Durant at that time was the best player on the Warriors.
And they wouldn't have won those without him.
It was indisputable that he was the best guy and deserved those Finals MVPs. So I just found this very bizarre, this spat back and forth between these guys yesterday.
Yeah, but you could see this one coming a long way
of
away.
course.
And I think it gets worse.
There have been hints at it over the years. There have been a bunch of hints at it. And they even, while they were still playing,
they rub each other the wrong way, and there's a lot of payback.
That last run where they ended up beating or losing to the Raptors, some of the back and forth that they were having on the bench.
It was good riddance.
We weren't privy to it. We didn't hear exactly what they said, but there was some correspondence between those two that didn't look all that happy.
2 great locations now for Belly Acres. A third on the way in South Haven at Silo Square, coming really, really soon. At Belly Acres, the motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal simple, provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the entire family. The 2 locations now that you can have that fun service is Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place, coming really soon to Silo Square in South Haven. Signature burgers made from 100% grass-fed beef, salads, sandwiches, everything fresh, and the best milkshakes anywhere on a hot summer day like this. And TV's on sports constantly. You go by there like right now and you can watch all the night action. Tomorrow night you can watch the NBA Finals there. TV's always on at both locations. It's quality brand, the Belly Acres team. They developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the big city. Those burgers like the Dare Ya or the Double Dare Ya and the melt in your mouth, and you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo, also very delicious. The goal at Belly Acres, become even more sustainable as they grow, and they will when they get to Silo Square in South Haven soon. Now in Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis. It's at Belly Acres. Burgers, shakes, and smiles every time.
We have to grab a break. We are going to switch topics. We're going to get to Way Back Wednesday next, but we're going to get back to the NBA Finals. We're going to get back to NBA in the third hour. We're going to talk about our top 10 players in these NBA Finals. At 5 o'clock, we bring on Brian Geltzeiler from hoopscritic.com at 5:30. But coming up next, we bring the generations together. We bridge that gap with Way Back Wednesday.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
In the alley since 1948, the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see everything kind of getting back to normal.
Brett, we've done a lot of ads before, but maybe it's time for me to do a recap. We have valet parking at the end of our alley on Monroe. On Fridays and Saturdays, we give away our wonderful red beans and rice until it runs out. And you know we like to do things local. Miss Barbara Jackson of O Taste and See has been making these wonderful chess and pecan pies, that's pecan, not pecan, and key lime pies for dessert. And we just started serving this wonderful gelato from Sweet Magnolia Gelato Company. And just to remind everybody, you don't eat cheese and sausage with a knife and fork. You take a cracker, you put sausage on it, you put a piece of cheese on it, a little mustard or a little sauce, take a bite and chase it with the pickle. Brett, we've always been the place for all gatherings, whether they're corporate, rehearsal dinners, retirement parties, birthday parties, whatever. We seat anywhere from 20 people to 250 people. And oh, by the way, we are now open for lunch from 11 o'clock on Tuesday through Saturday. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
It's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest gifts for dads and grads, featuring tailor-made Stealth Carbon Woods and the new Stealth Irons. The Carbon Woods feature carbon twist-based technology, and the new Stealth Irons feature max forgiveness and explosive ball speed. And from Bushnell, the Tour V5 and Tour V5 shift rangefinders inform you precisely how far you are from the pin. Whether you're a dad or grad, get a free custom fitting today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
I think this is the best chicken I ever had.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back to wrap up hour number 2 on Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. AutoZone listener line. About an hour and some change left in the show. Hit us up, 901-360-8255. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Send us your text in. Also message us on our socials, Sports 56 WHBQ, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Now, we're the only show that does this, and we do a great job of it. We bridge the gap between the generations, and we do it fantastically. Let's get to Wayback Wednesday. All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it. We didn't get to Millennial Monday because of Memorial Day, but Wayback Wednesday's rocking and firing.
Are you ready?
Of course I am. Always.
4 questions, all multiple choice, all 4-part multiple choice, A, B, C, or D.
Wow,
Now, question number 1.
Chance.
Good,
yep.
easy
Good
money.
odds.
I
yeah.
got this.
Question number 1. In the 70s, he was considered the most trusted man in America. Was it A, Richard Nixon, B, Abby Hoffman, C, George Allen, or D, Walter Cronkite?
Oh,
Nixon,
gosh.
Hoffman,
Ooh.
Allen, Cronkite. Most trusted man in the 70s.
All right, so there's a funny answer and there's a realistic answer. I'm gonna go with the I'm gonna go with the realistic answer. Give me D, Walter Cronkite.
Correct.
You know, I really
Audio wasn't working there for a second.
really, you know, when you brought up Nixon, I figured you were trying to throw me for a loop. I figured you were trying to get me to
won in a
think
49
something
state
else.
landslide in 72.
I understand that. But we know
Impeached and resigned in
Yeah, I was
74.
going to say the whole trustworthy thing.
Yeah,
you never know. Maybe at one point he
impeached
was
by the House.
thought as
Impeached by the House, not
thought as trustworthy.
Not removed by the Senate. Question 2. This band was not part of the British invasion. They were not part of the British invasion. A, the Animals. B, the Monkees. C, the Stones. D, the Who. Animals, Monkees, Stones, Who.
A, Animals. Who is it?
The Monkees.
Oh, really?
Mickey
Where
Dolenz.
Where are they from?
Created out of Southern California, basically.
Oh, gosh.
What's your
the
favorite
TV
monkey
show.
song,
I don't
Gabe?
know. What name a
Hey,
monkey song?
we're the Monkeys.
There's got to be something else.
Yeah.
There's got,
No,
what's their
I'm
most
a
famous?
believer, yeah.
What's their
Yeah.
most famous one?
I'm a believer.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah.
One of the saddest
I'm a
things I
fan.
ever witnessed in my life. Go to see U2 at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. Is that right?
There you go.
Yeah, it was called the Liberty Bowl at that time, though.
It was called the Liberty Bowl at that time.
Right?
Go to see U2 there, and they don't do Desire, but do a cover of I'm a Believer.
Oh,
that's too bad.
Oh, no. It was
what are we doing?
So 1 for 2. Question number 3. This was not a famous Memphis restaurant in the 70s.
Okay.
It was not. A, the Four Flames. B, Anderton's. C, Dog and Butterfly. Or D, Justine's.
Okay. You know, restaurant names, restaurants in general, usually my specialty. Can we run through those again, A through D?
A, Four Flames. B, Anderton's. C, Dog and Butterfly. D, Justine's.
A, Four Flames.
Great restaurant downtown.
What did it serve?
Poplar steaks were great.
Okay.
And it had 4 flames burning out in front of it all the time. Oh, it was great.
So what's the real answer?
Dog and Butterfly, a heart hit song, but not a restaurant in Memphis in the 70s.
That should have been the obvious one. But with you, I don't know why. I don't know why I avoid the obvious answer.
1 out of 3 so far. Question number 4, final question. What NFL head coach's grandfather was head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies in the WFL? The Memphis Grizzlies, Memphis Southmen, Zonka, Kick, and Warfield. A, Kyle Shanahan. B, Bill Belichick. C, Sean McVay. Or D, Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith from Memphis.
One more time.
Shanahan, Belichick, McVay, Smith.
I have to say Shanahan. I have to say A. Who are we talking about?
Sean McVay, his granddad, John McVay, head coach of the
John
Memphis.
McVay.
I didn't know that.
Who
Yeah.
knew?
Fun fact.
Left
Memphis-
here and later became the head coach of the Giants. Later ran the Giants, and one of his sons still runs. So it'd be Sean McVay's uncle is the executive director of now the Tampa Bay Bowl, formerly the Outback Bowl.
So Grizzlies, the WFL name, was there a carryover? Did people attach themselves to that name, or was it like what's the
They
story
moved
there?
here. They never played a game in Toronto, and they were owned by John Bassett. His daughter was Carling Bassett, the great tennis player, or good tennis player. They never played a game in Toronto. They got booted out of Toronto. He left, came here. He started calling them the Memphis Southmen. Couldn't do anything with the logo, so it became a nickname, Memphis Grizzlies.
Okay, so the Memphis Grizzlies now completely separate conversation.
Totally, they are it because they were the Vancouver Grizzlies.
Okay, right. That's an interesting side by side right there, isn't it?
Very.
My gosh, who would
And later, when John McVay was head coach of the Giants, he signed and had Larry Zonka at the very end of Larry Zonka's NFL career, Hall of Fame career.
How did he do?
Not very good.
That's too bad.
Zonka Kick Warfield not very good here.
I say,
Zonka and Kick stay drunk the whole time.
And also shout out to Larry Zonka for what he did in the NFL. But
yeah,
by the end of his career, running the ball the way he did, sort of rough and tumble, running over people,
straight ahead.
I can't
Didn't dodge a soul.
I can't imagine the hips, knees, and ankles were feeling very well.
And Larry Zonka returned to Memphis with the USFL when he was general manager of the Jacksonville Bulls.
Jacksonville Bulls. How about it? How about it? Now, let me tell you about Bell Tavern. There's one place that Memphis has been missing for a while, and that place is none other than Bell Tavern. It's been closed for a while, but is reopening soon, and Memphis will be a fantastic place and a better place because of it. People have been pent up for a while. Time to get back out. We know what COVID did to people, what the pandemic did to people. People are wanting to get out, get some drinks, hang out with some friends. You know about 117 Prime on Union. All you do is walk through the dining room of 117 Prime, again at 117 Union, and you access the best bar in Memphis. It's the perfect place to start your night with a gourmet bite to eat, burger, sandwiches, and starters, and end your night with the coldest beer in town and craft cocktails that you can only find in Barbaro Alley, tucked in between 2nd and Main. It is Bell Tavern. All right, now we have to get to hour number 3. We have a lot of NBA Finals discussion, a lot of NBA discussion upcoming. Brian Geltzeiler at 5:30, but coming up next, we talk about the top 10 players in these NBA Finals right here on Sports 56, 98.5.
Memphis' oldest restaurant, Coletta's, was established in 1923 to give Memphians the best Italian food possible. And after 99 years, I'd say they got it right. They are the creators of the barbecue pizza. It was Elvis's favorite, and I know for a fact that a large will feed one person all weekend. If you need to feed several, though, Coletta's caters any event. Choose from homemade lasagna, ravioli, Alfredo, primavera, and so many other delicious items you can't help but enjoy. Impress employees or clients and treat them to Coletta's for lunch or dinner. Plan ahead and get your holiday party booked at Coletta's. Elvis's favorite place to go eat with his buddies at the South Parkway location, and Coletta's even has an Elvis room dedicated to him. Call Coletta's on South Parkway at 948-7652 or Appling Road at 383-1122. Coletta's. It was Elvis's favorite, and it should be yours too.
It's time to vacation at home with Family Leisure. That's right. Enjoy a vacation in your own backyard with a little help from Family Leisure. Like play gyms and trampolines, they're now $500 off. And those trampolines, by the way, they've got that mesh on the side, so trampolines are now safe, and you'll be the hit of the neighborhood. They've got hot tubs in stock and ready to go, and you can get up to $1,000 off when you pick them up. All kinds of do-it-yourself pool specials, like savings of up to $1,500 on all in-stock pools when you pick it up and install them yourself. And if you're looking for patio furniture, then stop on in, because they have tons in stock and they're ready for you to pick up. So get ready for that vacation at home with the help from Family Leisure. Family Leisure's Vacation at Home sale. It's happening right now at Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun truly do come together.
At Boost Mobile, you get the power of the iPhone SE when you switch, which means the power to stream your favorite shows, download all the music, the power to FaceTime your ex.
It's over. Stop calling me.
On second thought, don't call your ex. Switch now and get an iPhone SE for $0, all on one of America's largest 5G networks. More power to save. Boost Mobile. Free phone limited to new customers and one per line, excluding tax. Additional restrictions apply. 5G not available everywhere. See boostmobile.com for details. And stop calling your ex. She doesn't want to hear from you anymore.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commissions, sales leads, and a great place to work. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flinn.com. Start your career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Let's talk some numbers here.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
I used to feel so devastated.
We welcome you back to this third and final hour at 5:30. Brian Gelsiler, always a great guest from hoopscritic.com. And Brian always is very opinionated, and that's what we want. We want an opinion. This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales at 5704 Goodman Road, online at DeSotoAutoSales.com. They are very, very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. All the cars test-driven, all thoroughly examined, checked out bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. And if it's not on the lot, they'll find that special car just for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. You walk in and you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales, the opposite of that. They care about your time and want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a hustle and bustle, busy world. Time really matters, and that's why they have the process down. Very streamlined, very efficient, very simple. Find the car you want, get credit approved, paperwork completed, the entire process, 45 minutes or less. It's a guarantee. You can do it over your busy lunch hour or like right now in time to do it after work and get to whatever you have to do tonight. You can do it at DeSoto Auto Sales. Go online at DeSotoAutoSales.com, 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
Now, I know you. We have a correction here on the text line about Richard Nixon.
We do. Richard Nixon was not impeached. He was going to be.
Yeah,
it was voted out of the Judiciary Committee, referred to the full House, and that's when he resigned on August 8th, or announced it on August 8th, 1974. I was at a Pony League baseball tournament, Gabe, during his resignation speech. He resigned at noon, effectively at noon the next day on Friday the 9th. It never got in front of the Senate. Only 3 presidents have been impeached: Andrew Johnson, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump twice. None of them removed by the Senate.
But yeah. How'd that resignation speech go? I've never seen.
Well, he did it on Thursday night in a nationally televised address to the country that I guarantee you 90 million people were watching.
Oh gosh!
Because it was on every network.
That's one thing.
We only had
we
only had 4 channels.
That's
3, 5, 10,
and
13.
Days. There's no like the shared experiences. The shared experiences aren't like they used to be. Even in sports.
I was a bat boy. I had played earlier that day in a 12-year-old tournament in Stuttgart, Arkansas, and was a bat boy that night for my brother's team in Far City, his Pony League team, and a nice man was in the stands and had a transistor radio, and most of the ballpark was gathered around it to hear. And tomorrow at noon and the next day at noon, he was gone.
But yeah,
they didn't have Dick Nixon to kick around anymore.
Back to your question that he was not the most trustworthy guy in the 70s.
No,
far from it.
He was not.
Very far from it. All right.
Do you even know who the other 2 people were? Abby Hoffman and George Allen.
No. Neither.
George Allen was the football coach of Washington in our nation's capital, and got them to a Super Bowl. Was a very successful coach prior to that with the Rams. Later had a son that was governor of Virginia and United States senator from Virginia, George Allen, and he later had a son, Bruce Allen, that got booted with the Washington football team. Abby Hoffman was part of the Weather Underground, a terrorist group in the 70s.
A terrorist group? Like a Oh, wow. A domestic terrorist? How about
Correct.
that? That's something. Well, I'm glad that's definitely not trustworthy.
And he hid in broad daylight for years and was never caught by the FBI until finally somebody ran into him. And the greatest quote ever was United States Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan from New York, who lived across the street from where I lived in Washington, D.C. And when he was asked about, they caught Abby Hoffman today, and he said, well, I'll be damned. He's been right here under our nose forever.
Wait, Abby?
I mean, he wasn't even trying to
You
hide.
said Abby, right? Abby
Hoffman, yeah.
Male.
ABBIE.
A male.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is there like Abner? Is that the real name?
I don't know.
The full Abby.
I don't know. I never knew that. I should know that.
I was thinking female.
Knowing my 70s like I know it.
Yeah, golly. Now, finals, Warriors versus Celtics. 3 out of the Western Conference, 2 out of the Eastern Conference. First game is tomorrow. And obviously this is the 6th time in 8 years that the Warriors have been in this position in the NBA Finals. Now there's a lot of questions in regards to what the top 10 players are in this series. And I think at the top, all pretty much similar. There's 3 guys that certainly put themselves in that conversation. Jason
Can't
Tatum,
imagine
Jaylen
it'd be
Brown,
much
Steph
deviation.
Curry are the 3 guys
Can't
at
imagine.
the top. Then there's a relative fall off. I'll go ahead with my list first. 1, I throw Steph Curry out there. And listen,
Boom.
you can say
Unanimous.
what you want to say about Jason Tatum
Look
and
what
the
he's
stats
accomplished.
looking better.
Yeah.
I went Steph Curry 1, Jason Tatum 2, because Jason Tatum,
Same.
for all that he's done well, he has had some flops in these playoffs. He has had some serious flops in these playoffs, and the Celtics have lost games because of it. I haven't seen, like, major flops from Steph Curry. Has he been as torrid shooting as he has in past playoffs? No, but he's still averaging 26, 5 rebounds.
Quite accomplished.
And 6.5 assists, and the accomplishments are there. But Jason Tatum, 2. Number 3, I go Jaylen Brown for his offensive ability, what he can do defensively. One of the better two-way players in the game today. By the way, signed with Donda Sports yesterday. I mentioned that at the bottom of the show. 4, I go Andrew Wiggins. And I would imagine this is where deviations start to happen. I go Andrew Wiggins because I think defensively he is surpassed in a lot of ways Klay Thompson with what Klay Thompson's dealt with an Achilles and a knee. It's just hard to be who you once were on that end of the floor with those injuries. And I think offensively, he provides a spark, and he doesn't have to take a whole bunch of shots. And I think Klay Thompson, for what he has become, a lot of volume these days. A lot of volume. And I like Andrew Wiggins and what he's done in these playoffs with his efficiency. 5, I go Klay Thompson. 6, I go Marcus Smart. I did have to remind myself the other day, Marcus Smart is a 6th overall
exactly
pick.
where I had Marcus Smart.
But Marcus Smart, I had to remind myself the other day, he was the 6th overall pick. This is the guy who had high hopes coming into this league, been with the Celtics every step of the way.
This isn't Tony Allen at Oklahoma State. This is Marcus Smart.
But we're talking about Defensive Player of the Year this year, a guy that's going to have to do a heck of a job on Steph Curry if the Celtics want to win this series.
He's got to give some offense.
And he does. He seems to do that. From the three-point line, about 35%, can distribute relatively well. Right there with Jason Tatum. He and Jason
fearless.
Tatum, best distributors on that team. Very fearless, tough, very tough. Has had some injuries in these playoffs and has played through. So Marcus Smart gets 6. Number 7, and more because of accomplishment than what I've seen on the floor. These playoffs in particular, but Draymond Green. I mean, what he provides for that team. You look at the stat sheet, you say, okay, how much would they hurt from him being out of the lineup? But when you realize what he means,
Gabe, I like your list for the now. I like it for the now. I'm afraid I went too much resume, too much past.
But Draymond Green, for when you talk about being that spiritual leader for the Warriors, he encompasses that. And
Brian, you know what Gabe is very much in danger of doing right here? Because he hasn't been listed yet.
What's that?
You're not
you can't give that all Hall of Fame
I'll
speech.
get to it. Y'all hold your horses. Number 8, Jordan Poole. See, I dropped him even another one.
Wow.
Jordan Poole, I go Jordan Poole here because what he
You're
did.
out.
What
Tito
he
ain't
But hold
inviting
up.
you to
But hold
Tito
up.
ain't inviting you
But
to Tito's party for you.
Hold up. Jordan Poole offensively, what he can do, it just like you have to put him a little higher than Al Horford. I mean, he could be the next the next great shooter in this Splash Brothers dynastic era for the Warriors, and he's shown it in these playoffs, especially in that first series against the Nuggets. 9, I go Al Horford. Hall of Fame Al Horford. Hall of Fame Horford to you guys. Get it right. But he's 36 years old. For him to be in the top 10 anywhere, come on, give the shouts out. And then number 10 for me, I promise, I would venture to say neither of you guys have him on your list at all. But I go Derek White. I go Derek White.
Okay.
Give me Derek White. What he did with the Spurs was fantastic. Always around 13, 14 points per game. What he did in that the final couple games for the Celtics versus the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, that new dad energy he sort of brought. I like what he's brought to the Celtics. And we talk about trade deadline acquisitions every single year and which ones really pay off and which ones don't. Derek White
get better from it.
Derek White
has
been massive for them for bench scoring and a little bit of defense.
And that deal on trade deadline or whenever it was announced, man, that deal was buried down 10th story.
Yeah, but it is paid off for them in a big way.
All right, we agreed on 3, 1, 2, and 6. That's it. Bryant?
So we're starting from 1 and moving down. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So 1, I have Steph, clearly. 2, Jason Tatum. I'm pretty sure ours are the same top 3, and then Jaylen Brown, number 3.
That's fair.
4, maybe I should do the Hall of Fame speech. I have Al Horford. He completely.
There we go.
Well, I'm doing right now. I'm doing this
You're out.
playoff.
Understood.
You're out.
Al Horford completely changed that series against the Heat. I mean,
he's complained
defensively against Bam. Well, but more specifically against Bam in that series, because I thought, and you talked about it earlier this week. I mean, Bam really could have been the center point in a piece that could have won that series for the Heat, and he just completely did whatever he wanted to do defensively against Bam. He's averaging 1.6 blocks, so I have him at number 4. Then I have Robert Williams at number 5. Again, same thing defensively. When Robert Williams was out, that team defensively was a completely different team. When he came back,
31
exactly. So defensively, I put him way up top.
Wow.
Number 6, Andrew Wiggins. Number 7, Klay Thompson. Number 8, Marcus Smart. Number 9, Jordan Poole. And then number 10, I think Draymond needs to focus more on basketball and not his podcast.
But he's number 10 for you.
He's number 10 for me.
Thank you.
Number
Thank
10.
you.
So,
Appreciate
Bryant,
it.
we agree on 3, 1, 2, and 9. I know I went too much meritorious service. I went too much resume, too much pass, but I'm old. Heck, I saw 3 of my top 10. I saw their dads play their full careers. Steph Curry's dad, Klay Thompson's dad, and Al Horford's dad. I saw every bit of their careers.
Right.
So I go with Steph Curry 1, Jason Tatum 2. That was unanimous for all 3 of us. Number 3 for me, until he's out, I'm going to go with Klay Thompson and those daggers. 4, Draymond. 5, Jaylen Brown. 6, Marcus Smart. 7, Al Horford. Bryant, you will give a good speech. 8, Andrew Wiggins. 9, Jordan Poole. And don't cue Rocky Top. 10, Grant Williams.
Okay.
Wow.
I've seen Grant Williams in these lists, but here's the thing. When we talk about Grant Williams and his clutch performance so far in these playoffs, he was left open 25 times in that Bucks game. I mean, he was set. What was he, 7 for 18 from 3?
Oh, yeah.
Something ridiculous
game.
like that. A great game for
Yeah.
him. And he is. And again, I've sung his praises too, because I think the Celtics finally took that approach, like the Grizzlies have taken over the years, of get a guy who can play ball. It doesn't matter. You look at his measurables at the NBA Combine. You see how
and when
old
we
he
do
is,
our
he
NBA
gets scared
podcast,
off.
this is going to be the name of the show, The Glue Guys.
The Glue Guys. There you go. The Glue Guys. First one in, last one to leave. Yep.
That's it.
Scrapping.
He just cares. He cares more than anybody else.
Jumping
Gabe.
on the floor for every loose ball.
He wanted to win more than you did.
The one thing about your list, Brett, that we have to have a discussion about, and I know you're talking, it's merit in what they've done through their career.
It was too
Draymond at 4.
Yeah.
That's a.
I have him at 10.
I have
Barely in there.
I have Draymond at 7. Draymond these days is not what he once was on the offensive end. If he could lift himself to what he once was, 15 points a game, 12 points a game, like
So
he
you
was
don't think he
his
can do
first
my
couple
12 points a game over 7 games?
I don't think that's it's possible. But for
It's not
him,
probable.
Here's the thing. Every time he gets the ball on a lot of those dives, because he'll set a high ball screen for Steph Curry, dive,
Roll off of it.
and they pass it down to him. He doesn't even threat like he's going to throw up a floater or finish at the rim. He doesn't even try.
Well, Gabe, if he can't do that now, how are they going to be dynastic in the future replacing that? So you think we're at the end of the Draymond effectiveness on the floor?
No. I never said that. Offensive end.
I'm sorry.
I think offensive end.
But he's got to give you some.
From a scoring perspective, he doesn't have to give you anything, and that team can still win. He can give you assists is what you look for out of him. Offensive rebounds, a little bit of dirty work here and there, keeping the offense moving. But he scoring these days at 12 points a game, that clip, it's just not
And he
there.
told a fib. I saw his salary today. It's like 24,800,000. It's not 25.
It's not 25. It's not the full 25.
You know what James Wiseman made this year?
What?
You want to guess?
13 million, 14 million.
9. Good guess.
Million?
9.
Okay, somewhere around there. It's been a frustrating thing with him.
Can't wait to ask Keith Smith this tomorrow. And I'm serious when I do. Does Joe Johnson get a full share in a championship ring?
Yes, he does.
If the Celtics win it all.
Yeah, he gets his ring. Right?
But does he get a full share? He only played in like 2 games, didn't he? Remember that crazy period of the season? That's going to be a great. That's going to be a great 30 for 30, and the NBA did that just to stay in business. They ran people out. It was you're right. It was replacement players. I mean, it was guys had to be calling home. Can you believe I'm in the NBA?
Oh, my gosh. Some of the names that surfaced through that whole thing. Lance Stevenson got a full year of a contract off of it.
Got a good deal.
Got a decent deal. I just thinking back on that, wild. But, yeah, Draymond.
Robert Williams at 5th.
Yeah, that's another one for me that I'm thinking about. Defensively, I'll give you a little bit of
game changer
there. I mean,
series changer.
Yes,
some would say he's the reason they're still in it.
But
I am some people.
But when we're talking best players, I certainly put Andrew Wiggins ahead of him. I put a lot of people in front of him. He wasn't even on my list. I put Al Horford, Derek White, Jordan Poole, Dre, Marcus Smart all ahead of Robert Williams.
Well, that just means mine's
I'm not
original.
going to get mad at you over Al Horford, though. Al Horford at 4. Shout out, my man.
It's great spot for him.
So you're right there with me, huh? You're ready for this Hall of Fame speech.
Well, I didn't say all that, but
I'll
give it.
He replaced you.
Brett,
I did.
Brett, I'm telling you, I'm getting everyone to buy in one at a time to the
I saw
Al
Robert
Horford
Williams.
Express.
I saw Robert Williams in college in a A&M at Arkansas game a few years back, and I was texting a scouting friend of mine in the NBA about how high you have Robert Williams. He said, we love Robert Williams. I said, how high you have him on the list? He said, what do you think? I said, well, here's my thumbnail scouting synopsis of it. Widest, I'm going to clean this up, widest backside I've seen since Corliss Williamson's.
And he's a leaper, too, Robert Williams.
Is he?
He's a leaper.
I didn't know Corliss was not that.
Well, I mean, Robert Williams is, weirdly enough, like just flat-footed, jumping up to go block shots. He is a pure leaper. Now, he's had some issues with his knees and stuff in these playoffs, so it's sort of.
We're almost averaging 2 blocks a game.
But what he did in that Heat series when he came back, Bam was nothing offensively.
And Gabe, I go back to our preseason picks when you picked Ime Udoka to be Coach of the Year. Okay, maybe some people had that. Nobody had the Celtics winning it all this year. Nobody out there preseason.
No. Now, once they started that torrid stretch, there was a lot of people sort of changing their tune about the Celtics.
The Grizzlies and the Celtics got hot about the same time.
Yeah, and we saw that that one crossover game. Not very pretty.
At TD Garden, it wasn't.
Not pretty at all. But the Celtics have a shot to win this series, but it's going to come down to if they can take advantage of the front court matchup and if Marcus Smart can just stick off ball to Steph Curry long enough, because that it's not about necessarily all of the on ball pressure with somebody in their hands getting steals, getting knockaways. It's about making sure that you can stick to these guys off script and off ball, because that's the biggest
Have we
issue
decided who we're for?
Who are for? I don't know.
Yeah.
Not particularly. Not particularly.
I
feel like
I want good games.
I mean,
I really have no preference.
You've sort of picked up the Warriors hate, though, that bug, right? Because of the fan base.
Yeah, but it's abated since the series is over.
Right.
And kind of the
they were giving
cat fighting's over.
They were giving the TNT crew the business in San Francisco. They're just a little too much.
Oh, that was awful.
They're just a little too much. And I'm sure
but
you've
that's
seen
not
the correspondence. No, it's not. I'm sure you've seen the correspondence between what Charles Barkley had to say back to him, though. I have no issue with him saying that.
And in anything like that, any kind of bad chapter, bad fandom, that's never everyone.
Of course, I'm not going to fully generalize a fan base, but that Warriors fan base, I think there's some generalizations we can make about them, especially on the social media space, because they showed their behind.
It's not a lot of fun when a couple embarrass you, a couple do something, and everybody gets castigated with it. That's not a lot of fun.
I understand.
But I don't think by any means it's everyone. Speaking of the NBA Finals, Brett Nordsworthy here, and the finals start tomorrow night. And your chance to score big at FanDuel Sportsbook, it starts tomorrow night. Throughout the NBA Finals, FanDuel giving new customers $200 in free bets guaranteed when you've placed your first $5 bet. Bet the money line, point spreads, player props, and so much more. I like Jason Tatum to be the MVP of the series. I like his over points for tomorrow night, and I love Boston tomorrow night with the Game 1 upset against the money line. Plus, you can combine your bets for an even bigger payday with a same-game parlay. Sign up with promo code CASH. If you haven't tried FanDuel, now is the perfect time to give it a shot, because the only thing sweeter than watching the finals is cashing in on all the action. Join today with promo code CASH and turn a $5 bet into $200 in free bets, win or lose. Make every game feel like Game 7 with FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA, must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
So I was reading a couple reports this morning on the Utah Jazz situation with Quinn Snyder, their coach for 8 years. They have yet to agree to extension. That's not a surprise. He's obviously been there 8 years, 372 and 264 in his career. But in one of the reports I read, there was a statement made about Danny Ainge and Quinn Snyder and quote-unquote philosophical issues. For me...
Here's the philosophical issues. I'm going to tear down. No, I want my veteran team back.
I was going to say, for me, hearing Danny Ainge and philosophical issues means the end of days for Quinn Snyder.
Keith Smith nailed it, didn't he? 6 weeks ago.
It's the age-old tale, those philosophical issues with between a head coach or anybody in the front office.
They're not mad over what color shirt he's wearing.
No, absolutely not. This is Danny Ainge saying, I'm ready to just blow this
It's not
thing
Danny
up
Ainge telling
over.
Quinn Snyder, lose the hair gel.
That wouldn't go over well. If he would have said that.
Great hair.
Well, yeah.
Game's over.
That man's got he's wearing mousse in his hair. And
He's got
always
some
really
product,
bright-eyed.
doesn't it?
He's bright-eyed, too. He's a bright-eyed coach.
He's got the product working.
Yeah. He's always.
You think it'd work on my hair?
He's always rocked.
You think all that product would work with me?
We'll get you some keeps, and we'll throw a little bit on top, and then we can get some product in there. Then we can handle it.
Think it'd work?
I don't know. It could.
I think it's a lost cause.
Nothing's ever a lost cause. Not that lost, right? You still got a little bit, Brett, on top.
Yeah, have some faith, Brett.
Yeah. There's a lot in the bottom of the shower every morning.
TMI, to be honest with you. But
it is.
You know, the first thing you have to do, if you're going to go and add a little bit of hair to the top, you have to believe that it's going to stay around, and you have to take care of it.
I don't have that belief.
Okay, well then we're a lost cause here. What are we talking about? Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back from said break, we have a bunch more NBA to discuss with our man from hoopscritic.com, Brian Geltzeiler.
You have opinions?
You bet.
Of course you do. Everyone does. Hit us up on the AutoZone listener line, 360-8255, 360-8255.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around, Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Hi, I'm Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. Can anyone explain to me why anyone would care how I measure your roof? We've all heard about measuring your roof from outer space. Well, to be honest, that's not possible. There are aerial pictures that can be taken every 4 years that can be used to measure most buildings, but it's not from outer space. Besides, no one, and I mean no one, can tell you what's wrong with your roof, or even if you need one, looking at pictures that could be 4 years old. If you'd rather do business with a family-owned and operated business with a lifelong tie to Memphis that refuses to mislead or use gimmicks, give us a call. Best products, best warranties, and the best service we know how to give. Fiveash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Memphis Tigers home team. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
I couldn't believe it either, but that thing runs like new.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
My nail tech knows how to keep it a little secret. I don't wish for my success, I speak it. I caught a buzz and you did too, but you tweaking. I look like I've been getting money, how reeking. You smell me, that's LV. Walk around with my chest out and my skin smooth.
Back rolling, about 30 minutes left on the show today. Sports Time on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He is Stats. If you want to reach out to us, 901-360-8255. The AutoZone listener line, text us. Questions, comments, concerns with these last 30 minutes. Also, you can message us on our socials, Sports56 WHPQ, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Very pleased to be joined again by our friend from HoopsCritic.com and a host on SiriusXM NBA Radio, Brian Geltzeiler at BGeltzNBA on Twitter. Brian, what's happening?
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Doing well.
We're doing
very well.
We're doing well, Brian. Gabe, the last 2 times I've asked Brian to be on. Now, how would you like these for excuses? One, he had to go to the dentist. Nobody makes that up. You have to do that. The other one, playing golf with my son, and my response back, swing hard and have a great time, Brian.
And I did, and I played well. So there you go, right?
Very good.
Well, I'm more concerned about the dentist. I'm more concerned about the dentist. Did the dentist appointment go well? You're all good there?
Even Park, the dentist?
Let me tell you something. I am one of the worst dental patients you'll ever meet in your life. So what they do to me at the dentist is they strap a nitrous mask on me. All right?
Wow.
And
okay.
and I'm in la la land. So they put oxygen in it to wake me up when they're all done. So I never know what happens. I just got to take their word for it because I'm a horrible gagger, guys. I'm not good at the
That's the only way to fly. Brian, I texted with you. I said I love these finals, and here's why. I have no preference. I'm not anti anyone. Even the residual mad at the Golden State and all that over the Grizzlies. I'm past that. I recognize their greatness. I just see that parquet, and it's evocative of so much. I think the NBA winding down these last 3 years, they've really got it right with these finals.
This is a great final. This is really a great final. I gotta say, guys, I love the Final Four. I think the league has come to a point with some parity here that is at a point where really we haven't seen in, 18 years. I mean, the last time I looked at the league having this level of parity was when the Detroit Pistons in 2004 won a final. We didn't really know who was going to be here. We figured the Suns would play a big role in this, right, guys? So how'd that go?
Right.
That didn't go very well. So you figured the Bucks would have a chance to get back. But we know in today's era of the NBA what injuries do. And listen, that's the Chris Middleton injury shaped the Eastern Conference like no other injury. And that was a big deal. So here we got these 4 teams, and it comes down to these 2. Now, listen, I thought that Dallas could have given Golden State a better battle than they gave him. As well as Golden State played in that series, I thought that was more Dallas not playing smart than Golden State playing all that well. I will say that. I think the Mavericks took way too many three-point shots. I think that there should have been a lot more Dwight Powell and a lot less Maxey Kleber. And even when Powell was in there, he got exposed. And for all the talk, and listen, I agreed with it at the time also. I would make the trade again. But I'll also say this. They missed Kristaps Porzingis in that series. The first time since they made the trade, they missed him. They missed Kristaps Porzingis in that series. They had no one to protect the rim. And you know this about the Golden State Warriors. If they will take what you give them, the biggest misnomer with the Warriors is somehow it's all threes. No way, man. That's not them.
They went inside.
I mean, they won that series off the bounce, Brett. They really did. So listen, the league's in great shape here. Boston is the best defensive team I've seen in this league in almost 20 years. Doesn't mean they're going to win the title, but they are that good defensively. And I think we're going to get in a good old-fashioned tempo war here. One team wanting to play it fast.
Love it.
One team wanting to slow it down. And we'll see how that goes. That's always very interesting stuff to me.
What's been your thought on the Celtics, though, through this run? I mean, obviously the Nets series, they came out and they absolutely whooped up. Understandable there. I think everybody gave the Nets too much credit for no apparent reason at that moment, just because they had the 2 superstars. I understand it from that point of view, but they just were not a complete team. Once they got in against the Bucks, I thought it would be relatively easy. With no Chris Middleton, without that jump shooter out there, and a guy who can lock up on defense, I thought that the Celtics could get through them in 6. It didn't happen. They take it to 7. It was a very, very close series. Against the Heat had injuries. It was a war of attrition. You knew it would be tough to sort of match up those 2 teams. But the Celtics barely get it done in 7 games, and they needed a little help. They needed a bad shot from Jimmy Butler. I've seen your take on that. I tend to agree with you a little bit there. And they needed a Max Strus call to go their way to be able to get over them. It seems like the Celtics, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, yes, defensively they're going to show up every night, but offensively there's just so many lulls, and we've seen them throughout the year.
They have an easy basket problem. And, the lifeblood of playoff offense, gentlemen, is where are you getting your easy baskets from? I can tell you where the Warriors are getting their easy baskets from. They're getting out in transition. They're going to get out and run the floor, and they're going to find easy baskets in transition. That's it. That's where they're getting their easy baskets from. The Celtics have an easy basket problem. They don't. Where are those easy baskets coming from? Well, most likely it's going to be Tatum off the bounce in the half court. And that, when you load up in the back line of him, those aren't always easy baskets. And that's the big issue that they have. That's why you see these lulls. That's why Miami stayed in the series with them. Miami's an excellent defensive team. But let's face it, Miami had one consistent offensive player that entire series. And it was Jimmy Butler. Bam came and went a little bit. Listen, Kyle Lowry all beat up. They were going like Kyle Lowry went. And that was a tough spot for them. Boston couldn't put these series away because against really good defensive teams, they're going to have an easy basket issue. And that's going to rear its ugly head here. Golden State's a very good defensive team. Yep. And then the other thing you're going to see with Golden State here that was really important is, Gary Payton's coming back. Mm-hmm. And Gary Payton may matter more in this series than he did in the prior two. Because with all due respect to what you guys have going on there in Memphis, the two wings that you bring to the table in Bane and Brooks, that's not Tatum and Brown. Tatum and Brown are really, really tough offensive wings. And you are going to need guys that can lock down on the wing to be able to do it. Listen, I thought Andrew Wiggins did an admirable job against Luka in the Dallas series. Luka is impossible to stop, and Wiggins took it to him on the other side and at least made them pay to a certain extent for having Luka on the floor as much as they did. With that said, I think Wiggins will be okay here on one of Tatum or Brown. But if Wiggins was your main guy and you had to worry about who else you put in there, Clay at this point, Clay doesn't have a lot left in the tank. So you're going to put Clay on one of those guys for the balance of an entire series. That's a tough spot for Golden State. With Gary Payton back, it's just different. And he will, even if he's only playing 20 minutes a game, that's 20 minutes in a game that Clay doesn't have to guard Tatum or Brown. And I think that's enormously, enormously important for Golden State coming into the series.
Brian Geltzeiler, our guest, the great Brian Geltzeiler. We're so glad to have him. Brian, maybe my favorite announcer setup when they're doing the stand-up, getting ready to throw it to the tip or kickoff or first pitch, whatever it is when the announcer, when Mike Breen says something has to give, and this is one of those something has to give series. How does Boston make Golden State kind of conform to them? How does Golden State break Boston into their will?
Well, all right, so let's start with what Boston needs to do with Golden State. Boston's good at one thing that's going to help them a lot in this series. They're good at limiting your three-point attempts. They guard the arc very, very well. So they're going to have to continue to be really good at guarding the arc. That's going to be something that they're going to have to really be, make that a big part of what they do, obviously, but it always is. The other thing, as I alluded to earlier, is the tempo war. Tempo matters here. You want Golden State to get less shots up. You want Golden State to get less open shots up. Because the thing with Golden State, and you let them get out in transition, that's equating to open shots. Whether it's layups, whether it's threes, they're getting everything they want getting out in transition. So for Boston, one of the things they may have to do in this series is punt the strength. One of their strengths is offensive rebounding. They can be very tough on the offensive glass. You know what? If you're going to make a major commitment on the offensive glass, that's going to mean you're not going to have everybody back on defense like you need them to be. And against this team, you better be back on defense, because if you are not, and it just takes one at times, that's it. They'll kill you. They'll kill you because they will take those threes in transition like no team, frankly, I have ever seen with them with threes in transition. And that's going to be a big issue for the Celtics. So they have to take them out of that. Listen, for Golden State here, you got to push pace. You have to absolutely continue to be able to push pace. And then for them, you're going to have to rotate a couple of different defenders on Tatum and Brown. The other thing which is interesting is how much do you respect Al Horford? Yep. Al Horford had the best year of his career. He's one of the reasons they're where they are right now is because Al Horford has played the way he's played in this playoff. He has been absolutely outstanding. Draymond is at his best when he's directing traffic in the middle of the paint and he doesn't really have a guy to guard. He'll guard a guy, don't get me wrong, but he, as a help defender and a guy that directs traffic, that's Draymond at his absolute best. If Al Horford's going to be a factor in this series, that's going to be a big advantage for Boston, and it's going to change how Golden State has to defend. You notice what happened in the Miami series. They were willing in big spots to let Smart and Horford take open threes. And Horford punished him at times. Smart did not. So that you'll see that now come into play a little bit. How Draymond, what he does without Horford, and how much respect they pay him as an offensive player, I think is going to be a big, big factor for how well Golden State defends Boston in the series.
And I always say this to all our guests that come on to talk NBA. I have already professed my love for Al Horford. He's Al Hall of Fame Horford to me, and that's just how it's going to be. But yeah, even outside of Al Horford, the Celtics in this matchup in particular, their front court, they just seem to have more. Whether it's Grant Williams going out there, Robert Williams, they just seem to have more. And I saw that Warriors team against the Grizzlies. And Steven Adams was a non-factor in the Minnesota series, so he sort of got out of the rotation for a while. But once he got back into the rotation against the Warriors, the Grizzlies had some success with him on the floor. I mean, he was bullying some of those guys. How much do you think that front court matchup comes into consideration when we're talking about this matchup, this finals as a whole?
How healthy is Robert Williams? That's the question.
Right.
Because the guy could not move in Game 7. And if Robert Williams is very healthy, then I think your Adams analogy is very relevant. Because I do think, yes, Golden State with extra bigs on the floor. You know, one of the things that I felt when Golden State was in the finals and we were looking, is it going to be Miami? Is it going to be Boston? The biggest factor in that Dallas series, besides for what Wiggins did with Doncic, I thought was Kevon Looney.
Yep.
Who dominated a series inside. Looney could have done that against Miami. He's not doing that against Boston. However, if Robert Williams is not in the lineup for playing on one leg, Looney becomes a factor all over again. And so I think that's Robert Williams' health is a very big factor in this series for both teams. It's going to totally affect how we see Boston. Listen, Boston at times will go very small and play Smart and Derek White on the floor together. Other times they'll go to Grant Williams. But Grant Williams, who had that big game at the end of the Milwaukee series in Game 7, I don't know that he's consistent enough to bring it all the time right now. And I think that's going to be the interesting thing to watch with him in his first NBA final. The Celtics experience shines through. And let's not forget, guys, the Celtics were deer in the headlights at the end of Game 7. If Jimmy goes for a 2 there, ties it, that would have put them on a 13-0 run at that point. Could they have gotten one last stop with Spo having a timeout in his hip pocket and a chance to win the game? Absolutely. And if the game goes to overtime, I like their chances in overtime also. So Boston collapsed at the end of that series. They don't have one player on this team with NBA Finals experience.
Right.
And again, you got to get there. That's how you get Finals experience. Golden State, I will say this. Sometimes I think we all tend to overrate experience a little bit. But Golden State in this particular situation with Thompson, Green, and especially Steph Curry, because it's amazing. We've had a conversation about this whole series, and we haven't brought the guy up once. Okay?
Yeah.
He is
unreal.
I've always had a tremendous respect for him. But I also think this. I heard somebody say this earlier this week, and this struck a chord with me. If you're just going to call Steph Curry the best shooter to ever play, you're going to really, really sell short the basketball player that he is. Yep. He is a tremendous offensive player. And yes, there are times that he's a big-time defensive liability. There are those times, too, out there.
He's worked on it, though, in his career.
He has, and smarts and brains. And listen, one of the things I think you got to look for here out of Golden State is, these are two of the most switchy teams you'll ever see on defense. These teams switch everything, okay? I actually think you're going to see Golden State switch less in this series because I think it's going to protect Curry. And I don't think they want Curry on Tatum and Brown a lot. And what you'll see is blitzing of Tatum and Brown out high. I think you're going to see a lot of it. And when you see that blitzing of those two guys out high, I think what you'll end up seeing there is Curry being the guy that's got to scramble and recover. Mm-hmm. And I think Curry's good at that. But to me, Curry is a big, big factor here because late in games, what you saw from Tatum, what you saw from Smart, what you saw from Brown, late in that Miami series, late in that Game 7, I promise you, in a big spot, you're not going to see that type of tenseness, that type of worry, that type of, let's call it what it was, panic out of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. But especially Steph Curry, you just won't.
Last thing for you before we get your pick on the series. When we talk about Andrew Wiggins, like I brought this up at the beginning of the show, thinking about what he was in Minnesota and what the Warriors did to go get him. You trade for, you do a sign and trade, you send off Kevin Durant, you get D'Angelo Russell. You use D'Angelo Russell as a package to get Andrew Wiggins. What were your thoughts of Andrew Wiggins at that time fitting in with the Warriors versus what it looks like right now? 15.8 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, has a couple assists, and his really. With Gary Payton II out, he has guarded the other team's best perimeter player.
I will tell you now. I'm going to start this by saying my view of Wiggins was a lot more favorable than most.
Okay.
Largely because my radio partner Sam Mitchell coached him early in his career in Minnesota and absolutely loved the guy. Felt like he was a hardworking kid, somewhat misunderstood The whole Jimmy Butler fiasco in Minnesota. We only know the side of, hey, Butler's saying these kids won't work hard. Butler's leadership style didn't necessarily appeal to these young men either, and he didn't get his message across in the way that they wanted. So I felt as though when they traded for Wiggins, I thought it was somewhat of a stroke of genius because it was looked at as a toxic contract at the time. D'Angelo, by the way, it's one of the great trades of the last decade in the NBA right now. Honestly. Because if you think about what they got Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga out of that deal.
They did.
For a guy they didn't want. For a guy that Minnesota wanted because him and Karl Anthony Towns were good friends at the time. And I don't think they're such good friends anymore, by the way. Okay, I'm not sure Towns wants him to stay there at this point because that's what Russell does. Russell's got a way of coming in and putting stink on everybody. So the way they were able to do it, because now what happens is this: it's the last year of Wiggins' deal next year. So Wiggins, what that trade was able to do is that if they want to pay Jordan Poole and move on from Wiggins and not have, a $500 million luxury tax bill, which is where they're going with this repeater tax at this point, if they continue to bring back everybody.
Right.
They actually can slot in Kuminga on a rookie scale deal to play Wiggins' role that they got out of that trade. Or for D'Angelo Russell. It's amazing. It's really amazing. I felt like Wiggins would fit in there perfectly because he doesn't want to be the guy. He doesn't want to be the star, but he's very, very talented, and he's a team guy, and he'll play hard, and he plays all 82 games, and he's a durable, hard-working kid. That's who he's always been. He was miscast as a superstar. Yep. He's had all this athleticism and talent, but it was never a role that he felt comfortable in. Here he feels comfortable. So I thought this would work very well. I thought it was a brilliant trade when Myers made it. Now I'm talking about being a historical type of trade.
Mm-hmm. No question about it. Now, who you got? Who you got? And how many games?
I'm taking the Warriors in 7. I think it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out series. I think it's going to be tough.
Hope you're right.
I think it's going to be the Warriors in 7. I mean, the Warriors will. Boston's going to put their share of lumps on Golden State here, and I will also say this: for Boston to have a chance to win the series, Boston can't fall behind 2-0 here. Yeah. This weekend, Thursday and Sunday. Boston's got to get one of those. It doesn't mean Boston's going to win the series, but to have a chance to take it deep and have a chance to win the series, they got to get one here. If they go back to Boston down 2-0, the job gets tougher because Golden State, and listen, for Boston, home court has not mattered at all for them in these playoffs. This is probably the series where I think it starts to matter.
He is our man, Brian Geltzeiler, at BGeltzNBA on Twitter. Brian, always appreciate it, man. Great talk.
You got it, guys. Talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Brian Geltzeiler. You can also follow his work, hoopscritic.com, and he is a host every day, SiriusXM NBA Radio. Let's get to our final break of the day. When we come back, it's time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
So you need to sell your house? I have the solution. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Any house, any area, as is. It's literally as simple as that. Just pick up your phone. Call 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. Guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your house fast, call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
There's a whole lot of celebrating this month, from people graduating to people getting married. June is always a month filled with reasons to do something special. And you can't get much more special than 117 Prime, Memphis' premier downtown dining destination. When you're marking an important milestone like a wedding or graduation, there's simply no better place to do it than 117 Prime. With the best steaks in Memphis, and for those old enough to enjoy them, the unparalleled wine selection and the huge variety of bourbons, and you've got the recipe for special. You've got 117 Prime.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Let's talk savings, Mid-South. Colin Johnston here from DeSoto Auto Sales. I want to go camping, but I can't till I sell more cars. So this month, my sticky situation could be your sweet solution. You could save a ton on a nicer, newer car. The more you spend, the more you save. Been burned by credit before? My For the People credit approval process is sweeter than chocolate. We want to help you drive a nicer, newer car today. So if you want to be a happy camper, stop burning up in a car you hate. Truck on down to DeSoto Auto Sales today. But hurry, this deal's done once I finally go camping. I'm Colin Johnston, your dealer for the people. New cars are arriving daily. See them all at DeSotoAutoSales.com. That's DeSotoAutoSales.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Negative equity may be refinanced. Vehicle purchase price determines actual discount. Offer absolutely expires on June 30th, 2022.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
You drove it, you love it. What more do you need to know?
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Brett, what I learned today, and this is just great job by the folks that run the Madden, by EA Sports, but John Madden will be on the cover of Madden 23. There's going to be three different covers, and they'll all feature the late John Madden. And he hasn't been on a game since Madden 2000, and obviously he was the big reason this whole thing started. But I just think a great decision as a player, as a coach, as a broadcaster. We still miss him, but the best advocate for the game of football I think we've ever seen. And
those Sunday afternoons were beautiful, weren't they?
Yes, but just a great move by the Madden video games and EA Sports.
And in the day, a great coach. I learned that Keith Smith called it 2 months ago. Our guest tomorrow at 4 o'clock, our NBA analyst from Yahoo Sports and Spot Track, he called it. The full Danny Ainge teardown would happen if the Jazz didn't advance. They didn't, and it's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Danny Ainge and philosophical issues, they go hand in hand. You know that there's going to be a different coach in Utah by next year. What I could have done without, I have a couple of things I could have done without. There's more fantasy football league drama going on in the MLB. Tommy Pham
it stop. It stop.
He calls out Mike Trout.
It's big news.
And he calls Mike Trout the worst commissioner ever. It's a fantasy football league. Tommy,
I could show him worst commissioners ever.
Tommy.
Our league for years.
Well, it's kind of rich, too, hearing about commissioners, and he plays in the Major League Baseball. But I digress. I mean, that's bizarre to me.
What do you think their entry fee is for their teams?
I would imagine a lot, but it can't. Like, how much is he wagering compared to his salary to where he gets this pissed off about it? And
how much would they have to put up for it to stay interesting to them?
I don't know.
25 grand a team?
These are guys with decent contracts.
Yeah.
Jock Peterson has got one. Tommy Pham got a decent one.
Mike Trout got one.
Got a heck of a one. So, I
Does Mike Trout get the free team for being the commissioner?
He should. All the work he's having to go through right now with this.
Right.
I mean,
catching all these
that's
errors.
the least they can do for him.
This just continues to prove my age-old point of baseball players being the biggest head cases in all of sports.
I've got another word for him, but I can't use that over there.
But also what I couldn't have done without, Kyler Murray shows up to OTAs. And I just hear a lot of conversations, and it's not about Kyler Murray showing up to OTAs. That's fine in my book. But all the conversations about him you shouldn't pay him his contract. He hasn't earned the opportunity to be able to speak up for himself as far as the contract. I want an honest answer. Don't use the word playoffs because I don't think that's a fair barometer considering the situation that
Very
Kyler
young
Murray
in his
took
career.
over. But what has he not done to earn a contract extension?
Let's see here, Gabe. Jersey sales, play on the field, season tickets, skyboxes, winning.
Winning, a playoff appearance, 2 Pro Bowls in 3 years.
We're talking about the football Cardinals, aren't we?
Yes, 2 Pro Bowls in 3 years.
Yeah, lighten up on Kyler Murray.
One of the second leading rusher in regards to quarterbacks over the last 3 years. He's fun. He's electric. I just can't get all of these conversations about how he hasn't earned it.
I don't get that either.
He hasn't earned it yet, though.
I could have done without this. I turned on hockey last night, and a 7th grade football score broke out. 8-6.
How about it?
Who missed the 2-point conversion?
Let's go. That was a heck of a game, by the way. And I don't.
Well, you really think it was a great game.
Yeah.
There's some people who might not think it was a great game.
No goalie stood on his head last night.
No.
Bryant knows why I think it was a great game, though.
You had the over.
He had
several things.
I had the over. I had a Cale Makar goal, and I had the Avs winning. So I
lunch on you
the
tomorrow.
trifecta.
Yeah,
hit the trifecta. But I only took over 4.5 goals. I should have upped that a little bit. I mean, we easily covered that.
Don't go broke taking a profit, Gabe.
Yeah,
Take the cash.
You're right.
Rake.
You're right. You
Always
are correct.
be happy.
Now, what we're looking forward to tonight: Lightning versus Rangers. This will be a fun one. New York versus
At Madison Square Garden
versus the winner of
this
the
ain't
last
no
two
St.
Stanley
Peter,
Cups.
Denver stuff. This ain't the Anaheim Ducks. This is where hockey's meant to be played at the Garden.
And what I really want to see, and I want to see the ratings of these NHL playoffs. I have to imagine they're higher than they've been in years.
They are, but the total number of viewers would surprise you. They're up, but yes, they're up. Angels, Yankees tonight in the Bronx, but most of the attention will be on Madison Square Garden in Manhattan. 16 Major League games today, no late games. We got our Cardinal win. We can just sit back and watch the world burn tonight, can't we?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
what do we think about a second win since 1975, since Game 7 of 1975 World Series for the Reds in Fenway Park tonight? We going to get it? We going to see it?
I remember
Green
75
going.
series.
We have the over tonight for Hunter Green.
Okay.
I watched the Carlton Fisk home run live.
You don't feel very confident in the Reds tonight.
Well, I mean, I have his over, but I'm not going with the money line. He's been terrible this year, Hunter Green.
And it's been a lot of 70s talk.
Striking people out.
My hair.
Well, he strikes like 10 people out a game, and
but he gives up too
8
many
earned
runs. Yep.
It's ridiculous. It's impressive.
Good young
honestly.
pitcher, though.
Yes, he is. That's all we have for today, though. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Alex Kuhn, John Goen, and Brian Geltzeiler for their contributions to the program today. For Brett, for Brian, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night and be safe. We'll holler at you tomorrow.
It's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shop.